Runecraft is a sacred power said to have existed since the dawn of mankind. The chosen ones born with runecraft defied the natural order with supernatural might. They reigned as leaders of all things. Under the rule of the chosen ones, the ancient people praised runecraft as a blessing bestowed by the gods. It was hailed as a miracle. However, among the countless runes in existence, there was one rune treated as a curse. This was the Azura rune. The scene shifts, and we see a boy with the Azura rune on his back running. The boy was heavily injured, and he had several arrows sticking out of him. He was running away from some people. The people asked him to stop. After seeing that he had gotten far away from them, they asked him to never show his face in their town. They called the boy a monster. The angry mob watched him as he ran into the snowfield. Even after getting away from the mob, the boy did not stop running. He didn't know where he was going, but he kept moving. He knew that he would die if he stopped moving. Since ancient times, those born with the Azura rune have always brought ruin to the world. At daybreak, the poor boy eventually collapsed out of exhaustion. He was bleeding out on the cold snow. Before he lost consciousness, he saw a blurry image of some people running towards him. The people seemed to be shocked to see someone covered in blood. Unfortunately for the boy, he couldn't move again. A man and his family moved close to him. The man asked his daughter and wife to use their runecraft to heal the boy. The poor boy lost consciousness before he could say anything. 7 years later, we are taken to a village. We see an old man and some people telling two men that there is no one with the Azura rune in their village. He reminded them that they have already looked through every shack in the village. He told them that it is time for them to get lost. The bald man and his comrade turned around. The bald man said that they are leaving. He told the old man that he is loud. After leaving the village, the two men went to report to their superior. The bald man informed him that there aren't any rune casters in the region. Their superior stretched out his hand and asked the bald man to move closer to him. When the man moved close to him, the superior shoved his hand into his body and crushed his intestines. The bald man spat out a large amount of blood. His comrade was shocked to see this. He screamed and called out to him. The superior watched as the bald man fell to the ground. He said that it is impossible for people like them, who have no runecraft or mana, to find his target. The being with the razor-sharp teeth said that he can smell it. He said that he can smell the reek of ruin. Later in the day, we see two people call out to some people known as Van and Linda. They told these two people that the two men are gone. Van and Linda came out of a tree trunk when they heard this. They were relieved to be finally able to catch their breath. The people that called out to them were the couple that saved our boy 7 years ago, and Linda is their daughter. The boy with long black hair is our protagonist. His name is Van. Van apologized to Linda's father for making the weird people come there again. The man smiled and told him that no one around there cares about that. His wife gently touched Van and Linda and told them that they are covered in dust. She asked them about why they always hide down there. Linda smiled and said that Van likes it there. Van smiled and turned to the tree. He revealed to them that this is where they saved him 7 years ago. He said that this is his favorite place in the whole village. Linda's father placed his arm around his neck and called him a precious kid. He turned to his wife and asked her about how the wedding preparation is going. She informed him that she is done. She said that they will start as soon as the sun sets. Later in the night, we see everyone gather around a large campfire in the forest. They designed the trees with lanterns. Van nervously stood in front of the fire. He wore a headband made out of leaves. He was standing in front of Linda. The girl seemed to be very happy. Her father told the two of them that they are now husband and wife. He asked them to say their vows in front of everyone. Linda told the people that she will make sure her husband is dried and happy so that he will forget how to cry. The villagers began to cheer for her. Van apologized to them for putting them in a tough spot again today. At the villages Van passed through, plagues, wars, massacres, and disasters never ended. Wherever he went, the screams of pain and despair followed. The poor boy couldn't settle down anywhere. If the villagers hadn't taken Van in, he would have died 7 years ago. Our boy told the people that he is not certain if it is okay for them to accept someone with the Azura rune. The moment he said this, Linda gave him a heavy punch on his face and asked him to shut up. Van fell to the ground when he received the punch. Linda told him that they would have never accepted him if they were really scared of him. She revealed to him that they were actually worried when they first met him 7 years ago. However, when a real crisis hit the village, he protected all of them by himself. Linda told her husband that they already decided not to worry anymore. She smiled and assured him that they will get through any crisis that comes at them together like they did in the past. The villagers laughed and told Van that they will protect him for life. One of them said that he is too soft. He wondered about how he was going to handle a girl like Linda. Van stood up and faced his wife. Linda's mom told them that they need to finish the wedding. Van told the girl that he loves her. Linda told him that she loves him too. They gently kissed after saying this. Immediately they did this. The mysterious being appeared. He released his energy and said that he feels like crying. The moment he said this, a large explosion took place in the forest. When Van opened his eyes, he saw his hands covered in blood. When he raised his head up, Van saw something horrifying. The ground was filled with dead bodies. Everyone was covered in blood. Van fell to the ground and screamed out. He couldn't comprehend what was happening. He didn't understand why this was happening now. He was horrified to see the sea of bodies in front of him. He saw Linda's father, whose name is Partel, lying on the ground. He called out to her dead mother, whose name is Kara. Van did not know what to do. He stretched his hand out in fear. He said that he doesn't know what is happening. Immediately he said this. The mysterious being appeared behind him and greeted him. Van was shocked to hear his voice. The man gave him a punch that sent him flying. Van hit his body on the ground and slammed his back on a tree. The man dragged Linda's injured body on the ground and sang a song about Van hiding his Azura rune. He said that all hidden things will show eventually. Van asked him about who he is. He asked him about why he is doing this to them. The man told him that he doesn't need to know the reason. He told Van that he has business with him. He revealed to Van that there is someone who needs the true ruin of his Azura rune. He told him that he wiped out every nearby village thoroughly because survivors will be annoying to take care of. Van was shocked to hear this. The man assured him that this is nothing personal. He said that he is just doing what he was told. He asked Van not to hate him too much. Immediately he said this. He covered our boy with his energy. He revealed to him that this is a pocket dimension prison prepared for him by someone. He explained to him that 1,000 years or 10,000 years doesn't mean much in the prison. He told Van that he will let him out when the time comes. He asked him to wait and be good. He told Van that he actually doesn't know when the time will be. Van stretched out his hand, but the branches created by the man's energy held him down. He quickly turned to his wife. He saw Linda moving her mouth. She was telling him something. She gently smiled after talking to him. Van stretched out his hand when he saw her smile. Unfortunately for him, the pocket dimension prison wasn't going to let him go. Tears poured out of his eyes as the pocket dimension prison closed up. The prison took the shape of a sphere and locked Van in its dimension. Inside the prison world, we see Van lying lifeless on a huge rock. He wondered about what the man meant when he talked about the true ruin. Van always wanted to believe that there was more to his life other than a single rune. He realized that there was never a way out for him from the very start. He told himself that his very existence only brought ruin and death. He realized that there was never a way for him to escape this fate. He wondered if Partel, Kara, and Linda would have survived if he just accepted his fate a little earlier. For the first time in his life, he wanted to believe that things would be different. He wanted to try living a normal life. Van told himself that his vain hope and greedy wish killed everyone. Immediately he thought of this. Numerous spirits surrounded him from all angles. Van didn't move. He was too broken to do anything. He simply told the spirits that he was sorry. He said this thousands of times. He asked the deceased not to forgive him. Inside his head, Van wondered if a god exists. He wondered why God would inflict such a cruel fate upon him. He quickly realized that he is wasting his time. He wondered about what the gods could do for him now. He was quite tired. He was in so much pain. He was tired of life. He closed his eyes and hoped that he would die peacefully. The moment he did this, he remembered his wife telling him that it is not his fault. Even though blood was pouring out of her eyes, Linda still smiled and told her husband that she will love him forever. Van opened his eyes when he remembered this. He pushed himself up. His shirt tore apart and his hair grew longer. He disagreed with Linda and said that this is his fault. He opened his eyes, which had turned red, and asked himself about why he is searching for peace. He told himself that he is spouting nonsense. He couldn't believe that he wanted to end things and take the easy way out. He raised his head and screamed. He told himself that he cannot die yet because he still has something to do. With a horrifying look on his face, Van said that he still has to get revenge. He remembered the dead bodies he saw. He remembered people always telling him that the Azura rune invariably brings ruin. Van screamed and said that he doesn't care anymore. He He said that no ruin can be worse than this. He remembered the man telling him that someone needs the true ruin of his rune. Van screamed and released a terrifying energy. He said that he will make the person feel the ruin by himself. He promised to show them what true ruin is. He remembered the village people and the family that took care of him. He asked them to give him a little more time. He promised to join them after he gets his revenge. In order to get his revenge, Van had to get out of this pocket dimension prison. He forced himself to stand up. The spirits in the prison materialized. They took the shape of monsters with numerous heads. They all charged at him at the same time. They told him that they are dead because of him. They asked him to die. Van released a dark energy. He promised to take his revenge even if it takes him 10,000 years. He swore with a face filled with pure hatred. The moment he did this, Van began to fight the demons. He used his hand and leg to damage and kill them. 200 years later, we see Van still fighting the monster. He was still tearing them apart after 400 years. 600 years later, we see the monsters take the shape of a huge, grotesque creature. It was a giant with thousands of heads. Van stood in front of this monster. He was still filled with pure hate. The boy who would walk the Azura path now danced in ruin. Although Van had gotten stronger, he still didn't know the true power of the Azura ruin. In the 999 year, we see Van charging at the huge, grotesque monster. The monster used its hand to slam our boy to the ground. Van stood up. He was covered in blood and filled with despair. Endless agony befell him. Yet the fire of vengeance in his heart did not go out. He charged at the monster. The monster raised its hands and smashed our boy's body on the ground. The entire dimension shook when it slammed Van to the ground. The monster raised its hand up. It was soaked in blood. Van was lying on the ground with his bones crushed. He was slowly losing consciousness. Our boy remembered asking Linda about her dream in a field. The girl told him that she wanted to become his wife and make her parents his in-laws. She said that she wants one son and one daughter. She stood up and revealed to him that she wants to get a home where he will always come back smiling. A gentle breeze blew and made the flowers move around her. Linda told him that she also wants to get a fence to keep him safe. She smiled and told Van that this is her dream. Van fully opened his eyes when he remembered this. The moment he did this, the true power of his rune got released. A crazy-looking demon smiled when this happened. Van screamed out in pain as his body pushed itself up. A dark energy got released from his body. His energy dragged some of the bodies on the ground and placed them on his body to create something. A huge explosion took place in the prison. When the smoke cleared up, we see Van in a new black armor. Our boy knew that this was the true power of ruin. The god of ruins, whose name is Azura, used the power of ruin to summon the armor known as helms. Van walked forward. He realized that no one would have died in the past if he had this power. He clenched his fist and took a stance. He smiled at the monster like a crazy person. He raised his hand and punched the air. His punch pierced the monster's stomach and sent it flying. It slammed its back on the ground. Van jumped and clenched his fist. He covered it with his energy. He activated the first manifested armament. He activated a technique known as Annihilation Fist through the armament. To use Annihilation Fist, Van is given a gauntlet imbued with the power to annihilate matter at the particle level. The destructive power of the technique depends on the user's mana. Van gave the monster a bone-shattering punch on its head. The monster grit its teeth, but it was unable to withstand Van's attack. Our boy crushed it with his fist and destroyed the ground. A large-scale explosion took place in the prison. In the outside world, we see a woman begging 3 bandits to spare her. She told them that she doesn't have any money. The bandits had already killed her husband. Their leader bent down and told her that he will simply take a few organs. The moment he said this, Van appeared behind him. Our boy's body was covered with different black lines which were left on him by his rune. He told the man that he has something to ask him. The leader turned around when he heard this. Van asked him about the year they are in. The man was surprised to hear this. He stood up and smiled. He placed his hand on Van's head and called him a curious young man. He told him that they are in the 1500 year. He asked him about why he is asking. Van didn't answer him. He was trying to calculate the time he spent in the prison. The man's comrade moved behind him and raised his weapon. The leader nodded at him when he saw this. The man slammed his mace on Van's head. Unfortunately for him, his mace shattered. Our boy wasn't even bothered about him. He realized that only 5 years has passed in the mortal world. The man was shocked to see what happened. The other bandits were also shocked to see what happened. With a scary look on his face, Van turned to the man who attacked him. He turned to the other two and gave them heavy punches. The men were unable to move. Van covered his fist with his gauntlet. He moved past the men and gave them light punches. However, these blows were too much for them. The upper halves of their bodies got blown away. Only their legs fell to the ground. The last man knew that he was dead. Van turned and called out to him. The man quickly answered him. With a smile on his face, our boy told the man that he has a question for him. On the continent of Aten, countless kingdoms have been founded there with the power of runecraft since ancient times. Among these kingdoms, there is a kingdom praised as the greatest kingdom in the history of Aten. This kingdom is the Zoe Kingdom. The Zoe Kingdom has dominated the continent as a hegemony for many years. They relied on their overwhelming military strength. The scene shifts, and we see Van showing the man an image of the mysterious man. The man informed him that the clothes worn by the mysterious man is only worn by sorcerers affiliated with the royal family of the Zoe Kingdom. Van asked him if he has really seen him. The man who was hanging on a tree smiled with broken teeth and assured our boy that he has seen the mysterious man. He said that he can't lie. Van asked him to share more details with him. The man revealed to him that a mercenary named Kezarak visited the leader, whose name is Digiol, and gave them a request 5 years ago. Kezarak said that the request came from some big shot. He told the leader that the request is nothing special. He explained to him that he needs to find someone and clear a few villages. He assured him that he will pay him a lot of money. He asked him if he will take it. Although Kezarak said that it is a big shot, the bandits did not expect it to be a sorcerer from the Zoe Kingdom. There was no reason for them to refuse, so they accepted the request immediately. Since they were bandits, this wasn't a big deal for them. They easily cleared the villages and left no traces behind. The man said that it was tough for them to burn all the corpses because there were so many. He told Van that they were still able to take care of them. After they were done with the job, Kezarak paid them and left immediately. Van asked the man if there was a girl with short orange hair among the corpses. The man said that there was. He told our boy that the girl caught his eyes instantly. He said that her corpse was probably burned too. He said that it was a shame because she was so pretty. He told Van that she would have fetched a high price if she was sold as a slave. The moment he said this, our boy remembered his wife and his in-laws. The man realized something odd. He asked Van about how he knew about the girl. The moment he said this, Van gave him a bone-shattering punch. The scene shifts, and we are taken to the bandit den known as Digiol Mountain Hideout. We see the bandits beating up slaves and moving them to different places. They locked some kids up in a wooden cell. One of them said that the kids are quite fresh. Another one said that they have been very rebellious. He called them trash. Their comrade told them that they sell better if they are livelier. While the bandits were carrying out their usual operations, someone knocked on their gate. One of them quickly opened a small opening in the door. He saw the face of the man who received our boy's punch. The man said that he brought drinks. He asked the guard to open the gate quickly. The guard asked him about why he is so late. He told him that he has been gone for ages. He opened the gate and asked him if he brought back something awesome. The moment he said this, he received a punch from Van on his face. Our boy threw away the head of the man who he beat up earlier. He pushed the guard inside and crushed his head. The other guard raised his mace and swung it at Van. Our boy blocked it with his hand. The man swung his mace at Van multiple times. He called him a bastard and asked him about where he crawled out from. Van easily dodged his attacks and moved closer to him. He clenched his fist and covered it with his energy. He asked the man to shut up. He gave him a bone-shattering blow and destroyed part of their gate. The bandits all turned to the gate when they heard a loud sound. They saw Van walking towards them with the head and body of their comrades. He called them insignificant pests that have gathered to play bandits. He threw the head and body of their comrades in front of them. He asked them about where their leader is. He said that he wants to talk to him. The bandits took out their weapons. They wondered if our boy has lost his mind. One of them asked him if he knows where he is. A huge man wearing a fur coat asked them to step back. One of them turned to the man who turns out to be their leader and assured him that they can handle the situation. Digiol called him an idiot and asked him if he wants to lose his life. He said that our boy is a sorcerer born with runecraft like him. He asked his subordinate to step back. He asked Van to tell him what he wants from him. Van reminded him that he did a job for a sorcerer in the Zoe Kingdom 5 years ago. The meeting was arranged by a mercenary known as Kezarak. Digiol was impressed that Van was able to get this much information out of his subordinates. He asked our boy about what he wants. Van pointed at him and asked him to tell him where Kezarak is. He assured him that he will spare them if he does this. The man told him that he will tell his corpse where Kezarek is. Immediately he said this. He covered his hand with his energy and gave Van a very powerful punch on his face. The attack sent Van flying. Dgiol told our boy that he should try hiding his magic power that is covered in killing intent if he is going to lie that he will spare them. The moment he said this, his body completely transformed. Dgiol has the blade rune. It gives him the ability to cover his entire body with sharp and hard blades. The bandit told Van that he is going to die there. Our boy already knew that he couldn't get through to the bandits with a conversation. He stood up and glared at the man with a scary look in his eyes. Immediately he did this. Van appeared in front of Dgiol in an instant. He gave him a bone-crushing punch in his chest. The man spat out a large amount of blood. Van quickly gave him another punch. He asked Dgiol if he is only this strong. The man grit his teeth out of anger. He called Van a bastard. He clenched his fist and swung it at Van. He asked him to die. Our boy easily dodged his attack by moving back. Dgiol called him a rat bastard. He put his arms together and began to spin at a crazy speed. He fired his blades at Van. He told him that he won't go easy on him anymore just because he is a young sorcerer. Dgiol watched as his blades hit Van. He asked him about how it feels to have his body torn apart. He believed that our boy won't be able to take a single step forward. To his surprise, Van was walking towards him. He asked our boy about how he is able to move. He asked him if he doesn't know pain. Our boy slowly covered himself in his armor. He asked Dgiol not to make him laugh. He completely covered himself in his armor and said that this kind of itch can't be called pain. Dgiol stopped spinning when he heard this. He gathered all his blades into his right hand and created a huge hand. He asked our boy to try to take this. Van knew that this would only peel off his skin a bit. He felt like the attack was too shallow. The level of pain it could cause was too shallow. The swamp of pain Van fell into wasn't this weak. He clenched his fist and thrust it at Dgiol's fist. Unfortunately for Dgiol, our boy's punch was just too powerful. His attack crushed his hand and destroyed his upper body. It destroyed everything behind him and tore through the forest. The impact of his attack cleared the sky. After he was done with Dgiol, our boy turned around. He told the bandits that they need to pick up from where they left off. The men knew that they were dead. At sunset, we see several bodies lying on the ground. They all had a weapon sticking out of them. Van was sitting on the bodies. The last bandit alive informed him that Kezarek is in the Nordya kingdom. Our boy asked him if he is certain. The man said that he is sure of it. He asked Van if he will spare him as promised. Van asked him if he promised to spare him. While shaking, the man told him that he did earlier. Van laughed and told the man that he was joking. The man nervously laughed. He said that he will take his leave. Van crushed his neck before he could move. With a scary look on his face, he told the man that he was joking when he said that he would spare him. He asked him about what he is laughing at. Later in the night, we see Van in new clothes. He was staring at something. He said that he would like to invade the Zoe kingdom. He said that he will meet Kezarek even if it takes some time. He told the thing that he will confirm things by himself. He asked Linda and his in-laws to wait a little longer. He said that he created a little present to appease them. He asked them to manage the present even if they don't like his artistic sense. The thing our boy was looking at was a cross he made out of the bandits' bodies. Van took out a torch. He told his family that their revenge is just starting. The moment he said this, he threw the torch at the bodies and turned around. He decided to go to the Nordya kingdom. The scene shifts, and we are taken to the Nordya kingdom. We see Van beating someone in the alley of Guild Street. The person told him that Anna Dalton will know. Van told the man that he should have said this earlier. He thanked him for the information and walked past the numerous people he beat up. Our boy tore the members of the gang apart. Now he needed to find out where Anna Dalton is. He knew that he couldn't afford to waste his time because there was no guarantee that what happened yesterday won't happen again today. The scene shifts, and we are taken to the day before. We see Van releasing a large amount of energy from his body. Our boy screamed out in pain as his energy poured out of his body. Van did not expect his magic power to be running wild. Nothing happened when he was locked up yesterday. Magic power is an unknown particle that cannot be seen with the naked eye, but it exists across the universe. The people who accumulate this magic power floating in the air within their body and manifest the ability of runecraft through the accumulated magic power are known as sorcerers. In other words, a sorcerer's body is a vessel that holds magic power. If this magic power runs wild within the sorcerer's body, the sorcerer could die. Van knew that his body could explode if his magic power continues to run wild. He realized that he must seal his magic power to stop the rampage. He placed his hand on his chest and slowly dragged his magic power back into his body. He was able to successfully take it back inside him. He fell to the ground and began to breathe heavily. He did not think that he would almost die. The scene shifts, and we are taken to the present. We see Van thinking about how he now has a very small amount of magic power. He knew that he could experience worse things other than his hair burning if he continues to abuse his magic power. In order to gain full access to his magic power, our boy decided to find out why the rampage happened in the first place. He realized that he needed to manage the small amount of magic power he had. While he was thinking, someone stood in front of him. Van asked the huge man to get out of the way. He said that he needs to pass. The huge man, whose name is Charlotte Jenny, told our boy that Madame Anna Dalton is currently using this place. He asked him to go back. Van told the man that he should have said this earlier. With a scary look on his face, he said that he has found the right place. He gave Charlotte a punch on his face. The man spat out some blood and fell to the ground. Van apologized to him and asked him to sleep for a while. He went into the building, which turns out to be a bathhouse. He saw 3 men wearing a blindfold standing in front of a big hot spring. The men were surprised to see him. The woman inside the hot spring also did not expect to see him. She wondered about what Charlotte was doing. She asked Van if he won't get out. Van carefully moved his hand. He told the woman that he is looking for a mercenary named Kezarak. He said that he heard someone there knows the man. The woman found it amazing that someone would go around calling Kezarak by name. She called Van a brat and told him that he is going to die without anyone knowing. Due to her reaction, our boy was certain that he had found the right person. He asked her to tell him everything about Kezarak. The woman laughed and called Van a crazy bastard. She ordered her men to rip his mouth off and bring it to her. The woman smoking a pipe is Anna Dalton. She is the #1 information broker in Nordya Kingdom. Her men accepted her order and released their magic powers. They began to transform. Their bodies became much bigger and stronger. It got covered with fur. The men transformed into werewolves with 5 eyes. They charged at Van together. Our boy slowly removed the cloth he tied around his hand to hide the lines on his body. He said that he wanted to talk about it. He didn't know why people make things hard every time. He dodged one of the wolves' attack and gave him a punch on his head. He gave another one a powerful blow in his stomach. The attack sent the werewolf flying. Immediately he did this. The 3rd werewolf attacked him for the side. Our boy dodged the attack. The werewolf's hand hit the wall. Another one tried to hit Van from the side. Our boy was able to dodge it by moving back. He covered his hand with his energy and raised his head up to see the 2 werewolves. He charged at them at a crazy speed and attacked them with a bone-crushing punch. His punch obliterated the werewolves and created a huge hole in the building. Van turned to Anna and asked her if she wants to have a peaceful conversation now. The woman did not expect him to be a sorcerer. She revealed to him that Kezarak is not there anymore. Our boy asked her about where he went to. Anna referred to him as a punk and told him that she is someone who sells information for a living. She explained to him that she can't tell him anything until she gets paid. Van asked her about how much she wants. Anna stood up and asked him about why he is suddenly acting sensible. Then explained to her that he is not a murderer. He said that he killed those men because they were trying to kill him. He told her that he is ready to pay a fair price if she can provide him the right information. Anna revealed to him that information about Kezarak and his current whereabouts will cost him 10,000 gold. She said that this is a fair price for the information. Van was surprised to hear the amount. He said that this is a lot of money. He told the woman that he did not expect it to be this expensive. Anna gently cleaned her hands. She told Van that she can't share any information with him if he cannot pay her. Our boy turned around and asked her to wait patiently. Anna was surprised to hear this. She asked him if he has a way to make the money. She asked him about why he is looking for Kezarak. She asked him if Kezarak killed his family. Van opened the door and asked her to mind her own business. With a scary look on his face, he told the woman that he might be forced to tear her mouth apart. He shut the door and left the building after saying this. Anna smiled and said that he is so scary. In the next scene, we are taken to Mercenary Street. We see Van register himself as a mercenary. He asked the attendant about when he can get started. The attendant, who appears to be a being from a different race, explained to Van that mercenaries get a lot of work, but it takes time for rookies to get anything because experienced veterans are assigned jobs first. Although it might take some time for him to gather the money he needed, our boy was ready to wait. He already needed a legit way to make a lot of money. He had actually thought of threatening Anna to get the information he needed, but he could sense that the woman was not ordinary. Van didn't see the need in increasing his enemies. He remembered that his Auntie Kara always advised him to make money through legit means. While Van was thinking, a girl wearing a hood approached the front desk and said that she wants to make a request. She said that she needs a mercenary with no experience. The man pointed at Van and said that he is a new mercenary who just registered now. The girl quickly turned to him. She asked Van about who he is. Our boy told her that he is the rookie who just registered. The girl said that her request is simple. She took off her hood and showed her beautiful face. She told Van that she simply wants him to take responsibility for one night. This girl is Leonati. She is 18 years old. The attendant and Van were surprised to hear what she said. Our boy turned to the side and called her a crazy woman. The attendant advised her to go to a brothel if she needs such services. Audie told them that it is a misunderstanding. She explained to Van that she is trying to hire an escort. Our boy walked forward and ignored her. Audie asked him to make a decision after hearing the compensation. Van told her that he hates the fact that his employer is already out of her mind. A huge fat man approached Audie and told her that he will take the job. He asked her about how much she wants to pay. Audie revealed to him that the pay is 10,000 gold. Van stopped walking when he heard this. Audie apologized to the man and told him that she can't hire a veteran with a well-known face like his. The man assured her that he is better than a rookie. Audie declined his offer. The man grabbed her hands and told her that he is better than Van. The woman asked him to let her go. The man was annoyed to hear this. He called her a frustrating young woman and told her that she should be thankful he is offering to take the job. Van moved close to him and referred to him as trash. He asked him to take his hands off the woman. The man was surprised to hear this. With a serious look on his face, Van referred to him as filthy trash and asked him to get his hands off his precious employer's body. The scene shifts and we are taken to a forest. We see some masked people burning some civilians. A man begged them to spare his son, but the men didn't listen. They burnt all of them alive. After they were done, they moved close to their leader. One of them informed him that it is just a peasant house. He said that the peasants don't have anything valuable. He told his boss that they will still be able to make some money if they sell the organs of the peasants. The man from a different race asked his subordinate to do as he wishes. He asked him about the job they took yesterday. He asked him if they will be snatching a daughter of the Leon household. The man told him that he is correct. The leader asked him to pick the 3 best men and keep them on standby. With a smile on his creepy face, the leader asked the man to hang the young boy he tortured. The boy was bleeding from every part of his body, and he had wires sticking out of him. The subordinate said that he will have the men on standby immediately. The leader asked him not to do it again. He activated his rune and used it to raise the man. While struggling to gain control of his body, the man asked his leader, whose name is Merkel, if he did something wrong. Merkel told him that he did nothing wrong. He said that the boy he played with is not enough to satisfy him. He smiled with his razor-sharp teeth and told the man that it will be perfect if he dissects him and hangs him next to the boy. The man screamed out in pain. The scene shifts and we see Van eating some steak. Audie was sitting in front of him. She seemed to be worried. She slammed her hand on the table. Van did not know why she did this. He asked her if the food does not suit her taste. Audie was shocked to hear this. She asked him about how he can swallow food like that. She asked him to stop using a person as a chair. Our boy was using the fat man that he beat up earlier as a chair. He asked Audie if she doesn't want to try using the man as a chair too. The woman said that she doesn't. She asked Van to let him go. She remembered how Van easily beat up the man. Our boy kicked him several times and asked him not to splash his bodily fluid on his precious employer. Audie had to be the one to hold him back. She told him that the man was going to die. The man begged our boy to spare him. Although our boy was rough, he was a skilled newbie with no paper trail. He was the perfect mercenary that Audie needed. Van got a chair and sat properly. He said that his other chair was comfy. Audie asked him not to treat people like objects. Our boy decided to get to business. He asked Audie about how far he has to take her as an escort. The woman told him that he is guarding her to the border of the Awana kingdom. She said that they will cut through the forest so that they can get there in a day. Van found it odd that she would spend 10,000 gold on a simple escort. He told the woman that he has a bad feeling that this ties to something dangerous. He glared at her and said that this might involve some powerful house or a fugitive. He asked her to share her identity with him. Audie revealed to him that she is the daughter of a somewhat wealthy man. She said that her father dotes on her a lot. Van wasn't convinced. He moved his face close to hers to see if she was lying. Audie told him that she can hire someone else if he is really suspicious. Our boy quickly moved away from her. He told her that he can never be suspicious of his precious employer. Audie was shocked to see how his attitude changed. Van asked her about when she would like to leave. Audie said that it will be good to leave early. Van told her that they can go now. Audie was surprised to hear this. Our boy said that he doesn't want to waste his client's valuable time. Audie did not expect to hear this. In the next scene, we are taken to the Gaseolso Mountains. We see our boy and Audie walking through the forest. The woman mentioned that they are halfway through the forest. Audie was relieved to see that everything was going well. She wondered if she even needed to hire a mercenary. The moment she thought of this, Van asked her to stop. Audie was surprised to hear this. She asked him if something is wrong. Van asked her to be quiet. He could feel magic power in the area. Magic power is also known as mana. Our boy closed his eyes and focused on his senses. He could feel the energy of 3 people sprinting towards them. He quickly realized that they were 4. He could sense Merkel's presence. He was certain that the man was dangerous. Merkel sensed Van's presence. He raised his hand and told our boy that peeking is bad. He fired an attack at him. Van quickly opened his eyes. He grabbed Audie and jumped back. Merkel ordered his men to capture the Leon family's daughter. Audie asked Van about what happened. Our boy explained to her that it was simply a warning shot. He said that the real one is coming. The moment he said this, he turned to the side. He saw Merkel's men coming towards them. 2 men attacked Van with their blades. Our boy blocked the attacks with his hands. The 3rd man quickly moved close to Audie. He wanted to grab her. Van sensed his presence. He pushed the other 2 back and gave the man a heavy kick in his chest. The kick crushed his body. The man fell to the ground and lost consciousness. The other 2 assassins quickly swung their blades at Van. Our boy dodged it and grabbed Audie. He moved back with her. After creating some distance between them, Van turned to the men. He removed the cloth on his hands and asked Audie not to move under any circumstances. He released his energy when he said this. Audie became nervous. She accepted his order. Van asked the men if they are bandits. One of them asked Van to leave Audie and back away quietly. He promised to let him go if he does this. Our boy smiled and told the man that he will leave if he pays him 10,000 gold. The man called him a fool. The man and his comrade charged at Van. The men swung their blades at him at a crazy speed. Van blocked their attacks and kept up with their speed. He was still able to attack them. The men made their attacks faster, but our boy was still able to keep up. He blocked their attacks without getting a cut on his body. Van carefully moved back after testing the men. One of them said that he was worried that he would be a sorcerer. He told Van that he is just a brat. Our boy released his energy and said that he was just being careful. He told the men that he didn't expect them to be so stupid. Immediately he said this, he appeared in front of them and gave them several punches at a ridiculous speed. He gathered his energy in his fist and gave them a bone-crushing punch. His punch tore the men apart and blew away the things around them. The men's bodies were completely destroyed. Only their legs were left. Van called them a bunch of clowns. Audie could not believe her eyes. She believed that Van was younger than her. She wondered about how he was this powerful. She knew that her father would be shocked and thrilled if he saw this. The moment she thought of this, someone said that sorcerers often gauge each other's mana because the amount of mana a sorcerer has often matches his skill level. Van was surprised to hear the person's voice. He turned to him and told him that he thought he ran away because he stayed hidden for so long. The person he was talking to was Merkel. Merkel was surprised to see that Van had the same amount of mana as him, even though he is just a kid. He wondered if our boy was born with it. He said that he will have to dissect him. With a creepy smile on his face, the crazy man told Van that a sorcerer like him must have amazing organs. Merkel is also known as the Mad Anatomist. He is the leader of the Merkel gang. The gang is involved in murder, human trafficking, kidnapping, and other heinous crimes. Merkel told Van that he will dissect him painlessly if he hands over Audie. Our boy asked him to screw off. Merkel raised his hand and asked him to die. He fired his energy at him, then called out to Audie. He asked her if she was lying when she called herself an ordinary merchant's daughter. Audie was shocked to hear this. She didn't know what to say. Van asked her to save her excuse. He said that he is not interested in listening to it. He grabbed her clothes and moved her in front of him. Audie was shocked to see what Van did. The attack was about to hit her. She called Van a bastard. Merkel was shocked to see Audie in front of Van. He could tell that our boy was serious about letting her take the hit. Before his attack could reach Audie, Merkel stopped it. With a look of anger on his face, the man called Van a crazy bastard. Adi told our boy that she almost died. Merkel asked Van if he isn't Adi's bodyguard. Adi called him a lunatic and reminded him that she is his employer. Van wasn't listening to her. He saw that Merkel twisted the direction of his attack in an instant. He realized that the man was a sorcerer that was skilled in manipulating mana. He understood that Merkel's goal isn't to kill Adi. He wanted to capture her. Van could not believe that Merkel wanted to take away his money. While he was thinking, Adi called out to him. She asked him if he is listening. Our boy told her that he will overlook her lie for now. Adi could not believe that he just brushed off the fact that he tried to kill her. Van moved close to her and asked her to stop arguing. He told her that he is going to throw her. He asked her to land safely on her own and hide like a mouse. He asked her if she understands. Adi was shocked to hear this. She couldn't believe that he wanted to throw her. Van asked her to relax. He assured her that she won't die. The moment he said this, he grabbed her clothes and threw her into the air with a large amount of force. He sent the woman away from the area. Merkel released his mana and asked the woman about where she is running to. He quickly began to run. Before he could get past Van, our boy grabbed his leg and asked him about where he is going. He clenched his fist and covered it with his energy. He dragged Merkel back and gave him a heavy punch on his face. He quickly changed his stance and gave the man another heavy punch in his stomach. Merkel got pushed back, but he was able to quickly regain his balance. He laughed like a madman. Van noticed something odd about the man. He was certain that his attacks landed on the man, but he could feel like they were blocked by something. Merkel smiled with his razor-sharp teeth. He told Van that he will carve him up and go after Adi. He asked our boy to look forward to it. He assured him that it will be an electrifying experience. The runecraft in Merkel's possession is the psychokinesis rune. His rune allows him to manipulate an object's physical state with mana. He also has the ability to discharge power in an instantaneous burst like a shockwave. Merkel raised his hand and fired an attack at Van. Our boy quickly moved to the side to dodge the attack. Merkel charged at him with this opportunity and gave him a punch when he got close to him. Van used his arms to block the attack. He realized that Merkel was good at hand-to-hand combat, and his body was clad in psychokinetic energy. Van quickly took a stance and gave the man a heavy punch in his stomach. The attack didn't move Merkel. He raised his hand and pointed it at Van. Our boy quickly moved away from Merkel's sight. The man fired his energy immediately. Van moved. Our boy quickly swung his fist at him. His attack was blocked by a shield. Merkel created the formidable shield with his psychokinetic energy. Upon seeing that his fist couldn't reach the man, our boy moved back. He did not like this annoying runecraft. He took a look at his arm. He noticed something odd. Merkel told our boy that he is wasting his time. He said that their mana may be at similar levels, but the abilities of their runes are worlds apart. Van wasn't really listening to the man. He was more focused on his arm. Merkel told him that he can take him in if he wants to work for him. He assured Van that he can earn several times the amount that Adi is offering him if he works for him. Van revealed to him that Adi agreed to pay him 10,000 gold. Merkel laughed when he heard this. He revealed to Van that they can get this kind of chump change by attacking 2 villages. He told our boy that he is getting paid a small amount for his skills. With a scary tone in his voice, Van asked him about what he means by attacking villages. With a smile on his face, Merkel said that he is involved in things like assassination, kidnapping, robbery, and human trafficking. He said that they do everything without asking questions and make a lot of money. He asked Van if he is interested. Our boy smiled when he heard this. He began to laugh like a crazy person. Merkel believed that Van was laughing because he liked what he heard. He said that he is such a good judge of character. Van released his mana. He told Merkel that he is laughing at himself for actually talking to him. The man was surprised to hear this. Van took a stance. He couldn't believe that he was actually having a conversation with a worthless vermin. With a scary look on his face, he told Merkel that he has decided to tear his limbs apart until he is unrecognizable. Merkel was annoyed to hear this. He called Van an insolent bastard. He couldn't believe that Van was acting like this when he offered him an opportunity. Before he could do anything, our boy appeared in front of him. He began to punch his shield. Merkel asked him about what he is doing. He reminded him that he said that he can't break his shield. Van didn't listen to the man. He made his punches faster. He began to slowly push Merkel back. His attacks gradually became stronger. His punches began to crack the shield. He was able to completely shatter it. Merkel was shocked to see this. Van gave him a punch on his arm. His attack blew away Merkel's entire arm. The man screamed out in pain. Van didn't give him the chance to rest. He gave him another heavy punch on his chest. His attack sent the man flying. He crashed on the ground. Merkel called Van an insolent bastard. He told him that he is no longer interested in his organs. He pushed himself up and told Van that he will pay the price for rejecting his mercy. Immediately he said this. He released his mana. He concentrated his mana into a triangle-shaped attack. He asked Van to be reduced to dust. He smiled and fired an attack known as Psychokinetic Blood Strike at our boy. The powerful energy got fired at Van at a crazy speed. It destroyed the things around them. Merkel was shocked to see that Van was still standing. He was certain that they had similar mana levels. He couldn't believe that Van stopped his psychokinesis with one hand. Our boy found it funny that Merkel thought that they had similar mana levels. He released his mana and called Merkel an idiotic bastard. Merkel instantly felt Van's horrifying mana. He couldn't comprehend what was happening. He couldn't believe that Van possessed such a ridiculous amount of mana. Van appeared in front of him in an instant. He asked him to fall to hell. He activated the Annihilation Fist and gave Merkel several punches before he could even react. He gave the man a bone-crushing punch and used it to tear a hole in his chest. Immediately he did this. Our boy picked up his cloth from the ground and wrapped it around his arms. He simply walked forward. The moment he did this, the ground and everything around Merkel got destroyed. A huge explosion took place in the area. Our boy didn't even bother to look back. He decided to fetch his employer. Runecraft can be used in different ways. It can grant users the power to arm their entire body with blades. Some people can transcend space and time, and others can even tear through land and cut mountains with their power. Runecrafts are supernatural forces that defy the divine order of the universe and surpass the laws of physics. Among all this runecrafts, the one called the Azura rune is labeled as the worst in history. However, due to the actions of the boy who wields the rune, a new history is being written on the continent of Aten. In the next scene, we see Van find Audie sitting next to a tree. Audie quickly stood up and moved close to Van. She asked him if he was crazy. She asked him to tell her why he would just throw someone away like that. Van slammed his hand on the tree behind her. Audie became scared. With a scary look on his face, our boy reminded her that she is hiding something from him. Audie became quiet. Van asked her not to worry about it. He said that he is not very curious. He asked the woman to give him the money she promised since he brought her to her destination safely. Audie quickly took out a bag full of gold and gave it to Van. She told him that there is 10,000 gold in the bag. Van turned around and told her that he is leaving. Audie called out to him. Our boy stopped walking and turned to her. The woman hesitated and said that it is nothing. Van walked forward and said that he is really leaving. Audie wanted to take our boy to her family, but she didn't want to drag such a young mercenary into the war. She felt bad about letting Van go. She turned around and decided to return to her family. The scene shifts, and we are taken to Anna Dalton's third residence in the Nordya Kingdom. We see Van throw the cash on the ground in front of Anna. The woman was impressed. She believed that Van had someone backing him. Our boy asked her to give him the information he requested for. Anna told him that she will only take half of his money. Van did not expect to hear this. Anna revealed to him that she failed to track down Kezerak. She said that the man is incredibly thorough. She told Van that she will tell him about Kezerak and anyone who might know where he is. Our boy asked her to tell him quickly. Anna asked him if he has ever heard of a mercenary group called Tease. Van said that he hasn't. Tease is a mercenary group that is involved in various crimes like murder, kidnapping, human trafficking, assassination, infiltration, and more. The leader of Tease is Kezerak. The mercenary group started to become famous around 5 years ago. Now their influence is so great that they can dominate a small frontier nation. Anna explained to Van that it is currently hard for her to find the main base of Tease, and it has become difficult to get Kezerak's whereabouts. She told Van that she is not the kind of woman who would easily give up. She revealed to him that she has found the location and whereabouts of one of the Tease executives. She took out a poster of the executive and showed it to Van. She told him that he will immediately recognize the man thanks to the long scar on his face. This man is a brutal assassin born with the concealing rune. He has never failed to take out his targets. Van believed that the man will know where Kezerak is. He asked Anna to tell him where the man is. The woman revealed to him that the assassin is in Valhild City in the Bogra Kingdom. The scene shifts, and we are taken to Valhild City. We are taken to Merkel's group base. We see several dead bodies on the ground outside. Inside the base, we see more bodies on the ground. A man chased after some men with a weapon. The man easily cut down the men. One of Merkel's subordinates turned around when he saw the man who was killing his comrades. He asked the killer about why he is attacking them. The executive with the long scar on his face told the man that he is just doing what he was told. He said that he might have been given the order because their group failed the mission given to them by Kezarak. The man told him that no one mentioned that the woman was protected by such a monstrous bastard. He told the executive that they lost their chief because of him. The executive apologized to him. He explained to him that they didn't think that Merkel would be defeated by some frontier mercenary. The man couldn't believe that the assassin killed almost all of them because of a single failure. The assassin asked the man to think of it as punishment. He told him that they are both low-level killers. The man laughed when he heard this. He asked the assassin to screw off. Immediately he said this. He ordered the rest of his men to attack the assassin. The men quickly jumped out of hiding and charged at the assassin. The man told the assassin that he will be the one to die there. He raised his hand and activated his rune. The man uses the touch rune. It allows him to create a huge hand made of mana that can be freely manipulated. The moment the man activated his rune, he used the huge hand to hold the assassin down. He let his comrades get close to the assassin before they could swing their blades at him. The assassin apologized to them for what he was about to do. Immediately he did this. He activated his concealing rune and disappeared. Everyone was shocked to see this. They couldn't believe their eyes. The assassin appeared behind the man using the rune in an instant. The man quickly turned around when he sensed his presence. He realized that he was screwed. A while later, we see the assassin walk out of the building. He saw a man waiting for him outside. The man asked him if he has taken care of everything. The assassin asked the man if he cannot see that he is covered in blood. He told him that he can go inside to check by himself. The man said that he cannot do such a thing. He told the assassin that he must have handled it as clean as he usually does. The assassin asked him to get lost if he has confirmed everything. The man informed him that an investigation is being carried out on the mercenary who killed Merkel. He told him that the mercenary has black scars around his eyes and neck, due to the fact that the man was telling him about Van. The assassin asked him if our boy is now a target. The man laughed and told him that he is correct. He told the assassin that this is why Kezarak won't let him go. The assassin asked him to shut up. The man said that he will inform Kezarak about what happened today. After saying this, he disappeared. After the man left, the assassin took out a cigarette and placed it in his mouth. He looked at the moon and thought about how Van has black scars on his eyes and neck. The scene shifts, and we are taken to Anna's house. Van said that the Bogra kingdom is close by. He told Anna that he has one more question. With a scary look on his face, Van asked her to tell him the name of the executive. Immediately, he asked his question. We see the assassin thinking about how the number of people he has to kill keeps increasing. The assassin is known as Hoxa. He is an executive of the T's mercenary group. In the next scene, we see a young boy and girl nervously standing in front of something. The girl asked the boy, whose name is Maget, if there is any way for them to get out of this situation. A huge snake-like monster with an open intestine stood in front of the boy and girl. The monster had a huge set of teeth in its intestines. This snake monster glared at the two children. Maget told the girl that he doesn't have any ideas. The snake monster hissed at the children and raised its gigantic hands. Before the monster could crush them, someone charged at it. The person jumped and clenched his fist. The person turned out to be Van. Our boy tore through the monster's intestine with his fist. The monster was unable to react to his attack. Its body tore apart, and its flesh spilled out. The two kids were shocked to see this. The monster fell to the ground in front of them. Van wore a hood and moved close to the children. He asked them if they are all right. With a shaky tone in her voice, the girl told him that they are fine. She thanked him for his help. Van turned to the sky to see numerous flying monsters that were above them. He told the kids that the area is crawling with monsters. He advised them to leave immediately. The girl told him that she wants to repay him for saving them. Van asked her not to worry about it. The girl told him that they can't just let him leave. She asked him to join them for a meal. Maget agreed with her. He told Van that their shop is nearby. Van declined their offer. He told them that he is actually looking for a shop around the area. The blonde girl, whose name is Ofen, asked him about the name of the shop. She said that they know every shop around the area. Van revealed to her that he is searching for a tavern called the Blue Knight. He asked her if she has heard of it. The girl was surprised to hear this. She revealed to Van that this is the name of their tavern. Maget found it surprising that someone was searching for their tavern. He said that it is not a place people usually look for. Ofen asked him to shut up. She moved close to Van and introduced herself to him as the cook of the tavern. She introduced Maget as her younger brother. She referred to our boy as Savior and asked him about his name. Van told the girl that his name is Ban. Ofen asked him to follow them. In the next scene, we see Van and the kids arrive at the Blue Knight Tavern, which is on the outskirts of the Bogra Kingdom. Ofen waved to a boy she saw outside. The boy asked her about why they were gone for so long. He told her that they have already finished preparing all the ingredients. Two little girls moved close to Ofen and hugged her. Ofen apologized to the boy and informed him that they ran into a monster on their way back. The boy was shocked to hear this. He grabbed her shoulder and asked her if they are all right. Ofen assured him that they are fine. She told him that a kind person saved them. The boy asked her about what she means. Ofen turned to Van. She asked the boy to greet him. She introduced Van to the boy whose name is Hosea. She revealed to him that our boy was on his way to their shop. Hosea was surprised to hear this. He asked her about why Van wants to come to the Blue Knight. Ofen asked him to shut up. Our boy went into the well-maintained tavern with the kids. Ofen asked him to seat anywhere he likes. Van asked her if the place is run by kids. The girl turned to him and told him that they actually live there. Van curiously asked her about what she means. Ofen revealed to him that they are not a real family. She said that they came from different kingdoms. She said that the little girls whose names are Lily and Ein lost their parents in the war. Hosea's village got destroyed by monsters and Maget's family were killed by mercenaries. These children should have been dead a long time ago, but they were saved by a man. The man was the one who brought them there and took care of them. Ofen said that the man is the owner of this tavern and their first savior. She wondered about where he was. Hosea said that the owner is probably sleeping because he got back from work late yesterday. Ofen said that she will wake him up. She asked Van to make himself at home. As she walked towards the stairs, she wondered why their savior was sleeping when they have a visitor. She went into the man's room and called out to him. She asked him about how long he plans on sleeping. The man gently moved and asked her to give him a little more time. Ofen asked him to get up in order for him to calm Maget down. She revealed to him that they almost got killed by a monster they ran into on their way back. She said that Maget is probably shaken up. The man quickly jumped out of the bed. He asked her if she is all right. Ofen told him that she is fine. She said that a kind person saved them. The man turned out to be Hoxa. He was surprised to hear about some kind person. Ofen revealed to him that the person was on his way to their shop. Hoxa realized that it would be rude for him to just stay in his room. He decided to greet Van. Ofen told him that this is a good idea. He went downstairs with the girl. Ofen pointed at Van when they got downstairs. Hoxa walked up to our boy and told him that he heard about how he saved the kids. He thanked Van for his help. Van told him that he was simply passing by. He said that things took an interesting turn of events. Hoxa did not understand what he meant. Van carefully directed his killing intent at the man and told him that he looks very much like the person he is looking for. The assassin was shocked to feel our boy's mana. He sat down and said that this is impossible. He told Van that he is just the owner of an unpopular tavern in the middle of nowhere. Our boy revealed to him that an informant told him that the owner of the tavern is an amazing cook. Hoxa understood what he meant. He said that he did not expect to get a referral. Van told him that he would like to see his skills by himself. Hoxa told him that the children tend to get rowdy when he is in the kitchen. He said that they will disturb his rest. Van suggested that they meet early in the morning tomorrow if he is worried about the children. Hoxa said that the children will be fast asleep around that time. He accepted Van's offer. Van told him that he will sleep early tonight. The man told him that he made a wise decision. He moved close to Ofen and asked her to show Van to a spare room. Ofen smiled and told the man that she has never seen him warm up to someone so quickly. She asked him if he is all right. Hoxa forced himself to smile and turned to the girl. He told her that he and Van are the same. He said that they both understand each other. Later in the night, we see Ofen showing Van his room. She asked him to let her know if he needs anything. After saying this, the girl turned around. Before she could leave, Van called out to her. He asked her not to thank him. He told her that he didn't save her on purpose. Ofen found this funny. She said that Hoxa also said the same thing when he saved her. She asked Van to rest well. She left the room after saying this. Our boy felt bad when he heard this. Later in the midnight, we see Hoxa at Van's doorstep. He was carrying his blade. He stepped into Van's room and found him sleeping on the bed. He quickly thrust his blade at our boy. Before his blade could reach him, Van opened his eyes and grabbed it with his hand. Hoxa was surprised to see this. Van quickly gave him a punch. Hoxa used his blade to block the punch, but he got pushed back. Van got up and told Hoxa that he has been waiting for him. The scene shifts, and we are taken to the past. We see Hoxa talking to someone with a device. The person's face appeared like a hologram. He informed the man that a sorcerer with black scars on his eyes and neck is in his tavern. He said that the sorcerer suspected of killing Merkel is in his tavern right now. The man said that this will save him a lot of trouble. He asked Hoxa to summon him with the formation right now. Hoxa said that Van might sense something and try to run away. He told his comrade that he will make sure Van can't escape before he summons him. The man told him that he will be waiting for him. The scene shifts, and we are taken to the present. We see Van telling Hoxa that he has a disgusting behavior. He found it disgusting that the man would take in children and secretly kill people behind the scenes. Hoxa apologized to Van for not being able to be a better adult to him. Our boy asked him to save his excuses. With a scary look on his face, Van asked Hoxa to tell him where Kezarak is. The assassin was shocked to hear this. He realized that Van came there already knowing everything about Tease. He told him that he can't tell him where his boss is. Our boy told him that he understands. He raised his leg up and took a stance. He told Hoxa that he wants to see if he can still say this after he cuts off his limbs. The assassin released his mana and told Van that he will pretend as if he never saw him if he turns back now. Our boy reminded him that he just tried to kill him earlier. Hoxa said that he understands. He took out a paper containing several words. He used his mana to activate the formation on the paper. The moment he did this, our boy got dragged into the formation. He found himself in a different place. He was in a cave that had no entrance. The only open space there was the ceiling. Van carefully looked around the tall cave. He realized that the cave was created with a formation. He remembered hearing about formations from Partel. A formation is a runecraft power inscribed into letters or images. When mana is poured into a formation, the stored power can be unleashed. Formations are usually cast by using paper as a medium, but they can also be set up using certain places or objects. Our boy wondered about where Hoxa went. He wondered if he ran away. Immediately he thought of this. Hoxa swung a blade at his head. Van was able to dodge the blade, but he got a cut on his cheek. He sensed mana in the blade that he dodged. He quickly moved back to dodge multiple slashes. He created some distance between himself and the blade. He charged at the location. He sensed Hoxa's presence and thrust his fist at it. His hand destroyed the wall, but he wasn't able to reach the assassin. Our boy noticed that the man's presence has vanished again. The moment he thought of this, the assassin appeared next to him and advised him not to turn his back on his opponent. Van was shocked to hear his voice. Hoxa thrust his blade at Van. Our boy was able to dodge it by bending his head. He quickly jumped back in order to create some distance between himself and the assassin. He realized that he can't see Hoxa with his naked eyes, and he can't sense his presence. He couldn't even hear a sound in the cave. He knew that this was Hoxa's runecraft. The assassin stood at the top of the ceiling. He put another blade on his other arm and put them together. The assassin uses a concealing rune. It allows him to erase his presence completely. Hoxa activated his rune and charged at Van from above. Our boy was able to dodge it by running fast. Although it was hard for him to dodge attacks in this narrow cave, it was even harder for him to locate the man. The moment he thought of this, he jumped in order to dodge Hoxa's blade. He quickly moved back. He clenched his fist and moved forward at a crazy speed. He was moving close to the invisible assassin. Hoxa was shocked to see Van coming at him. He quickly realized that our boy has figured out his location. Before he could move, Van grabbed his neck and raised him up. He told him that hiding his body won't help him because he can still see his mana. One of his eyes turned black when he said this. The eye is his second manifested armament. It is known as the Truth Eye. The eye allows him to perceive even the faintest mana that is undetectable to normal senses. Hoxa could not believe what was happening. Van slammed his body to the ground with a large amount of force. The impact of the attack destroyed the ground. Hoxa spat out some blood and rested his back on the wall. He told Van that he is the second rune caster to find him with mana alone in his 40 years as an assassin. Van asked him to tell him where Kezarak is. Hoxa asked him to tell him what he thinks of his kids. He said that they are quite adorable. Unfortunately for him, Van was not ready for his nonsense. He grabbed his arm and asked him to tell him where his boss is. He removed his arm and asked him to answer him. The assassin screamed out in pain while breathing heavily. He said that he has murdered countless people because of Kezarak's order. He said that he is a man beyond forgiveness. Our boy placed his hand on his other arm. He told Hoxa that he will rip off his other arm if he confesses to him one more time. Hoxa said that he cannot die, yet even if everyone condemns him. He said that he hasn't protected the children yet. He asked Van to accept his apology. Immediately he said this. He took out another paper and inserted his mana into it. Our boy was surprised to see another formation. A portal appeared above Hoxa. A monster jumped out of the portal and gave Van a blow in his chest. The attack pushed him back. Hoxa's comrade was on the monster. He said that he has finally found our boy. Van gently cleaned the blood on his lips. With a menacing look in his eyes, he called out to the man and asked him if he cannot see that they are talking. Van noticed that he was bleeding in his stomach. He realized that the monster's claw went into him. The man carefully looked at Van to see if he was his target. The fact that our boy was able to drive Hoxa to this point convinced him that Van is the one who killed Merkel. Hoxa pushed himself up. He advised his comrade to be careful. He informed him that Van found him with his rune. He said that he can't even guess his level as a sorcerer. The man was impressed when he heard this. He did not think that someone so young would be this powerful. Van called out to the man. He asked him if he is willing to answer his questions. The masked man asked Hoxa about what our boy is talking about. Hoxa revealed to him that Van asked for Kezerak's location. The man laughed and apologized to Van. He took off his mask. With a creepy smile on his face, the man told Van that there is no one who will answer his question. This bald man's name is Bridgeton. He is also an executive of Tease. Van realized that he couldn't talk things out with the man. He charged at the bald man. He clenched his fist when he got close to him. The monster behind Bridgeton clenched its fist when it saw Van. It quickly attacked our boy before he could touch Bridgeton. Van was able to block its attack with his fist. Immediately he did this. Hoxa appeared behind him. Our boy quickly turned to see the man. Hoxa swung his blade at him. Van jumped to dodge the man's blade. The monster's fist hit the ground when Van went up. Our boy clenched his fist and swung it at the monster while he was in the air. The monster raised its hand to block his attack. Van told it that it is not wise to block his attack. Immediately he said this. He slammed the monster's hand to the ground and destroyed it with his punch. The monster screamed out in pain. Our boy ran forward the moment he landed on the ground. Bridgeton smiled at him. He told him that he has achieved remarkable things as a young sorcerer. He gathered his mana in his hand and asked Van to tell him what he will do next. He revealed to him that the amount of monsters he controls is not limited to one. The moment he said this, several monsters came out of portals in the air. Bridgeton used his rune to bring them down. Bridgeton has the summoning rune. It allows the user to summon a subspace connected to another dimension. This makes it possible for him to store and retrieve anything he needs. Our boy saw the monsters coming towards him. He believed that it didn't matter because he could destroy them all with his attacks. Before he could do anything, Hoxa attacked him. He told Van that he let his guard down. He landed 2 cuts on Van's knees. This made Van lose his balance. The huge monsters fell upon our boy and pressed him down. Van was unable to move. The monsters held him down with their bodies. Bridgeton moved close to him. He was amazed to see that Van was all right. He told him that one of these monsters is enough to crush a normal sorcerer. He couldn't believe that Van was not injured. He asked him about the type of rune he uses. He asked him if it is body enhancement. Van told him that he is the only one allowed to ask questions. He advised the man to give him the answer he wants. Bridgeton smiled when he heard this. He told him that he likes his fiery personality. He offered to make Van an assassin of T's assassination squad. With a creepy smile on his face, he raised his hand and activated his rune. He told Van that he has to first make him his slave. Bridgeton has another rune known as the Domination Rune. It is a rune that allows the user to invade a target's inner world. The user will destroy the existing version of the person and reshape their identity into whatever they wish. Van was shocked to see that the man had 2 different runes. Bridgeton quickly placed his hand on our boy's head. He told him that he will soon be reborn. The moment he said this, Bridgeton found himself in a world covered with red clouds. Even the ground was red. The man wondered about where he was. He quickly realized that he was in Van's inner world. Bridgeton had turned countless monsters and sorcerers into his slaves with his domination rune, and he has never failed before. He believed that he would always be able to take over his opponent's mind no matter how strong they are. When the man turned around, he saw a huge demon carrying a huge sword. The demon was smiling at him. Other demons appeared around the man. They stood on opposite sides and held flags and weapons. It was an army of demons. Bridgeton always believed that he would win, but he didn't know that he had come across someone he shouldn't have met. a boy who was neither living nor dead, a boy who survived with nothing but vengeance on his mind and endured 1,000 long years in a deep and dark abyss of pain. In the middle of the demon army, something with long hair came down from the sky. The thing moved close to the sorcerer. He was horrified when he looked into its eyes. He couldn't even run. This demon looked like the Azura rune on Van's back. The demon smiled at the sorcerer. Bridgerton didn't think that he would meet this kind of thing in someone's inner world. He didn't know the kind of world that Van had created in his mind after suffering for so long. The demon stopped smiling at the man. Its head became bigger. It manifested thousands of faces. Bridgerton became terrified when he saw this. He got devoured by the demon. He quickly got dragged back to reality. He began to breathe heavily. While he was struggling to catch his breath, Van called out to him. He released his mana and told him that it is quite rude for him to peek into someone else's mind. Bridgerton was shocked to hear this. He called our boy a monster. Van dragged his hand out and gave the man a punch on his chest. Bridgerton screamed out as blood gushed out of his hand. Hoxa couldn't believe what was happening. He couldn't believe that Bridgerton's brainwashing failed. Van raised the monsters on him up and said that one sorcerer locks people in a strange cage while the other one peeks into others' secrets. He told the men that they are quite unpleasant. He threw the monsters up and gave them a life-crushing punch. He destroyed every single one of them with this earth-shattering punch. His attack destroyed the cave and threw the sorcerers out of the dimension. They were sent back to reality. They landed outside the shop. Hoxa and Bridgerton got slammed to the ground. Van was thrilled to see that the formation was broken. Hoxa tried to stand up, but he was too injured. He spat out a large amount of blood. Van took a look at Bridgerton. He saw that the man has already passed out. He decided to question Hoxa. He grabbed the assassin by his hair. Hoxa screamed out. Van told him that this is his last chance. He asked the man to tell him where Kezarak is. Hoxa didn't say anything. Van could tell that the man wasn't going to give him an answer. He stood up and told Hoxa that he doesn't need to give him an answer if he doesn't want to. He covered his hand with his energy and told the man that he will make him speak. Before Van could do anything, Ofen screamed and asked him to stop. She and her other siblings ran in front of Van and asked him to stop. They asked him not to kill Hoxa. The assassin was shocked to see this. He asked the children about what they are doing. Ofen begged our boy to spare their savior. Van explained to her that he doesn't plan on killing Hoxa yet, but he might die during the interrogation. With a scary look in his eyes, Van asked the kids to get lost if they don't want to die too. Hosea charged at our boy and hit him in the leg. He asked Van to stop. Ofen called out to the boy when she saw this. The boy held Van's hand. Van asked him about what he is doing. He asked him if he is not going to let him go. Hosea begged Van to leave them alone. Hoxa begged his children to run away. The children told him that they are not leaving him. Van was annoyed to see what was happening. He asked the children if they are joking with him right now. He pushed Hosea to the ground and took a stance. Ofen called out to her brother when she saw this. With a scary look in his eyes, Van told the boy that he will kill him first if he is prepared to die. Hosea quickly raised his hands up. Before Van could do anything, Bridgerton raised his hand up and released some energy. Van quickly turned to him. The sorcerer activated his summoning rune and used it to open a portal that released a monster's claw-like tentacles. Van quickly put his hands together to protect himself. He didn't think that Bridgerton would still be alive. To his surprise, the tentacles avoided him. Van did not expect this. He instantly realized that Bridgerton wasn't aiming for him. He was aiming for Hoxa and the children. The monster used its claw-like tentacles to stab Hoxa and his kids. Van quickly charged at Bridgerton. The sorcerer smiled at our boy. He knew that he wouldn't reach him. He used his summoning rune to place himself in his own world before Van could reach him. Our boy was only able to feel his mana. Inside Bridgerton's dimension, we see him resting on a huge floating rock. Since he has killed Hoxa and the kids, the man was certain that there was no way Van would gain information about Kezarak. He took a look at his arm and said that he went through a lot because of Van. He couldn't believe that there was a sorcerer who had such a terrifying inner world. He knew that he had to report this to Kezarak immediately. The moment he thought of this, someone tore space open and stepped into his dimension. Bridgerton instantly knew who it was when he felt his energy. His body got covered with sweat as he turned around. Van placed his hand on the man's head. With a nervous look on his face, Bridgerton asked Van about how he got into his dimension. Our boy revealed to him that there was a tiny passageway in space leading to his dimension. He explained to Bridgerton that he injected his mana into the space. and forcefully tore through it before it could close. Van told the sorcerer that he should have properly locked his door. He said that he is sick of dimensions. Bridgerton knew that he was screwed. Van asked him not to worry. He told him that he doesn't intend to kill him yet. He told Bridgerton that he has to answer his questions since he has killed Hoxa. He assured him that he will take him out in a month's time. Immediately he said this, Van's head transformed into a horrifying creature with several heads. He asked Bridgerton to stay there for a bit. This ability is the third armament. It is known as Gluttony's Pocket. It allows the user to devour living creatures that possess mana. The only limitation is that it can't devour creatures who possess more mana than the caster. The heads morphed into a gigantic head. The head used its tongue to grab Bridgerton. The man screamed and said that he doesn't want to go back into Van's world. He begged our boy to forgive him. Unfortunately for him, he got swallowed. After he swallowed the sorcerer, our boy's head slowly returned to normal. He stepped out of Bridgerton's dimension. He noticed that Gluttony's Pocket consumes a lot of mana. He realized that it was quite risky for him to use it. He fell on his knees and tried to catch his breath. He looked around and saw the bodies of the kids lying on the ground. He wondered if everyone was dead. Since he had secured a hostage who would provide necessary information, Van decided to leave the place and recover his mana. The moment he turned around, Hoxa asked him to wait. He told him that Ofen can still be saved. With a tear in his eye, the man begged Van to save the girl. Our boy turned to him when he heard this. In the next scene, we see a man standing over Hoxa's body. The man said that a fierce fight took place in this place. His comrade picked up Bridgerton's arm and told him that Bridgerton lost his arm. The man couldn't believe that someone killed 2 executives of Tease. He said that the attacker is insane. He asked his comrade, whose name is Mongo, if he can find the culprit. Mongo said that he can. He said that he can still smell something even though it is faint. He said that our boy was there until yesterday. The man wearing an eye patch summoned some men known as Raven. The men came out of his shadow. The man ordered them to report the situation to Kezarak. He said that he will track their culprit with Mongo. The men accepted his order. The man turned to Hoxa and wondered if this is the end he wanted so badly. He said that it is an empty and meaningless end. The scene shifts and we are taken to the mountains. We see Ofen open her eyes and scream. When she raised her head, Van asked her if she is finally awake. The girl asked him about where they are. She quickly turned to him and asked him about Hoxa and the kids. Van revealed to her that everyone else died. The girl was shocked to hear this. Blood gushed out of her eyes. She screamed and said that this can't be true. She told Van that he saw the wrong thing. She slowly pushed herself up and said that she has to go save everyone. She said that they can't die yet. Van asked her to shut up. He revealed to her that he buried the children's bodies himself. The girl fell back down and screamed. She said that this can't happen. She asked our boy about why he saved only her. She told him that he should have just let her die with everyone. She asked him to tell her why he saved her. Van asked her not to delude herself. He revealed to her that he only saved her because he needed her. Immediately he said this. Van remembered the conversation he had with Hoxa before he died. He asked the man to tell him why he should save the girl. He said that Ofen won't last on her own even if he saves her. She will either be torn apart by monsters or killed by bandits. While struggling to catch his breath, Hoxa informed Van that Ofen knows about Kezarak and Tease. He told him that the girl can provide him information. Van was surprised to hear this. Hoxa begged Van to simply take Ofen to a random village. He said that the girl is strong and lucky enough to survive. He was certain that she would be able to live on her own. Van asked the man about what he should do if Ofen doesn't know anything. Hoxa asked him to do whatever he likes. He told him that he can kill her if he wants. Our boy realized that the man wasn't lying. He agreed to help the girl. Hoxa begged Van to save her. After doing this, he died. While Ofen was crying on the ground, Van grabbed her neck and raised her up. He apologized to her and told her that he can no longer wait. He asked her to tell him about Kezarak. The girl seemed quite lifeless. She hadn't processed her grief well. Nevertheless, she still spoke. She told our boy that Kezarak is probably in the Varkan kingdom. She revealed to him that the man said that he was heading out to carry out a commission for the king of Varkan the last time he came to see Hoxa. Van asked her to describe Kezarak to him. The girl revealed to him that his appearance changes every time he came to see Hoxa. She said that this is probably due to the rune he wields. Van asked her if she knows anything about Kezarak's rune. Ofen said that Hoxa once told her that Kezarak is a sorcerer born with a rare set of 3 runes that are counted among the continent's rarest. Van did not expect the man to possess 3 runes. He knew that Kezarek was going to be hard to deal with. He let go of the girl and told her that they have no time to waste. He said that they will talk on their way. Ofen asked him about where they are going. Van revealed to her that he made a deal with Hoxa to take her to a safe village. He told her that this is also his way of repaying her for the information. Ofen was shocked to hear about the deal Hoxa made on her behalf. Van turned to her and asked her to get up. He told her that they are leaving immediately. The girl quickly got up. She stepped out of the cave with Van. She used her hand to block her eyes from the sunlight. Immediately, her eyes adapted to the sunlight. The girl saw something shocking. She saw a huge rock in front of the cave. Van reminded her that he buried the kids. He said that he buried them under the rock. Ofen asked him about why he chose this enormous rock. Our boy said that he doesn't want monsters to disturb their graves. He said that the children did nothing wrong. He told Ofen that he will let her say her final farewell. Ofen walked up to the rock and placed her hands on it. Tears filled her eyes as she rested her head on the boulder. While crying, she remembered how she and her siblings stood next to Hoxa while he was bleeding on the ground. A man seemed to have beaten up the assassin. The man was from Tees. The man asked Hoxa if he escaped from Tees only to babysit kids. He asked him if he will return to his beautiful assassin form once he kills the kids. The man turned out to be Kezarek. Hoxa begged Kezarek to forgive him. He begged him not to kill the kids. Kezarek turned around and told Hoxa that his missions will be doubled from now on. He asked the assassin to never try to run away if he wants to keep playing orphanage director. After Kezarek left, Ofen asked Hoxa if he is fine. Hoxa smiled and apologized to the kids. He said that he looks pathetic. He hugged them and asked them not to worry. He assured them that he will protect them. Megat told Hoxa that he smells like meat. The man laughed out loud when he heard this. The kids also laughed. Ofen remembered Hoxa showing her the name of the tavern after he opened it up. He asked her if she likes the name. Ofen told him that it is terrible. Hoxa asked her if it is really so bad. The girl remembered how she played with her siblings in their peaceful environment. Although they were not a perfect family, they still managed to make things work. Ofen scratched her bare hands on the rock. She was filled with so much rage. She asked Van if he intends to kill Kezarek. Our boy said that he does. With a look of anger on her face, Ofen asked Van to take her along. She said that she wants to tear the bastard apart. In the next scene, we see a man sniffing the ground. The man turned out to be Mongo. Mongo told his comrade that Van was just in the area some hours ago. He looked at the huge rock and said that Van's scent is very strong around there. His comrade said that this is good news. He said that they will soon meet the one they are searching for. In the next scene, we see a man walking up the stairs. The man went to a door and knocked on it. He went inside and told the person inside that he came to report something to him. The person turned out to be Kezarek. Kezarek rested on his chair without his shirt. He told the man that he already knows that Merkel's gang failed. He referred to Merkel as trash and said that he carefully nurtured trash who only involved himself in back alley crimes. He said that he is disappointed that Merkel gave him such an ungraceful ending. The man informed Kezarek that Hoxa and Berjedin are also dead. Kezarek sat upright when he heard this. His subordinate informed him that they don't know who is responsible. He said that Mongo and his brother are both pursuing the trail. Kezarek told his subordinate that more graceless variables keep ruining things. The man asked him if this is the work of the Ethos Order who have been tailing them for some time. Kezarek said that it is possible, but the situation feels different. He said that this feels like it is something else. He told him that a foreign third party is intervening. Immediately he said this. He took out a scroll and burned it. Since their culprit took out Hoxa and Berjedin, who are 2 out of the 10 executives, Kezarek asked his subordinate to tell Mongo and Tomoto to stand by even if they find the culprit. The scroll he burnt turned into a portal. Kezarek told the man that this is a critical moment. He told him that they can't afford any more disruptions. The man bowed his head and asked his lord if he should resolve the issue himself. Kezarek told him that there is no need for him to also get involved. Immediately he said this. Kezarek made clothes appear on his body. He told the man that he is heading to the Varkan kingdom right now. He told him that he will leave every petty issue that comes up entirely to him. The man said that he will remember this. The scene shifts, and we are taken to the Varkan kingdom. Someone welcomed Kezarek to the castle. Kezarek asked him about where the king is. The man informed him that the king is waiting for him. He asked him to go in. Kezarek and the man walked forward. He and the man stepped inside the king's courtroom. Kezarek bowed his head to the king. and asked him to forgive him for the discourtesy of arriving late to the meeting. The king laughed and asked him not to worry about it. He asked him if he has completed the job he gave him. Kezarak informed him that the coarse sorcerers of the Aran kingdom have been eliminated just as he desired. He told the king that he can rest easy now. He asked him for the promised payment. With a smile on his face, the king told Kezarak that a problem has arisen. He said that their kingdom is ringed by steep mountains and their resources are pitifully lacking. The one land where they could gain diverse resources was lost in the recent war against Aran. Kezarak reminded the king that this is why he entrusted his organization with the task. He reminded him that he asked them to eliminate the key sorcerers of Aran to prevent further losses and reclaim the land that was taken. The king told Kezarak that the T's mercenary group handled the task splendidly. Kezarak asked him about what the problem is. The king stood up from his throne and said that even if he took such actions in pursuit of greatness, it is still normal business among nations. With a disgusting look in his eyes, he asked Kezarak if he knows what will happen if word spreads across the continent that he involved a mercenary group that is infamous for engaging in dirty and vile work into his business. He told the sorcerer that just thinking about it gives him a headache. Immediately he said this, a large amount of warriors came out and the door of the courtroom got locked. Kezarak asked the king if he wants to kill him to erase all traces of his work. The king smiled like a deranged person and told him that there was never any payment promised to him. He said that he spent a lot of money to make his courtroom match that of the Zoe kingdom. Instead of panicking, Kezarak laughed. He laughed like a crazy person. The king asked him if he is going mad before his death. Kezarak released a small amount of energy. He told the king that he is not shocked to see that someone as graceless as him doesn't have anything in his treasury. He said that he was far too complacent. The king advised Kezarak not to struggle. He told him that his resistance will be futile. He explained to him that he has other people beyond the 30 finest sorcerers of Varkan that are gathered there. He revealed to him that he has soldiers stationed in every part of the castle. The king laughed like a crazy person and told Kezarak that he is actually paying him. He explained to him that the money he used to hire the sorcerers there is enough to cover his fee. Kezarak told the king that it is too late. He told him that he brought back the memory he hates the most. Immediately he said this. The man that entered the castle with Kezarak placed his hand on his back. He told Kezarak that the transfer of artificial mana is complete. Kezarak released his energy and said that royalty in small kingdoms and mighty empires are no different in the way they behave. He snapped his finger after saying this. He told the king that his kingdom is finished. He told him that he will take his kingdom as payment. To the king's surprise, nothing happened after Kezarak said this. He laughed and asked the man if he is joking with him. Immediately he said this. A light shined behind him. When he looked outside, he saw that the sky had changed colors. A ridiculously huge statue came out of the sky. The statue began to descend from the sky. The sorcerers in the room quickly ran towards the king. Unfortunately, they were too late. The statue covered the entire palace. The moment it touched the ground, it released a bright light. It destroyed the entire palace in one go. A minute later, we see Kezarak's subordinate call out to him. He told his lord that nothing survived. He said that everything was wiped clean. Kezarak picked up something from the ground and said that things that aren't clean are never beautiful. He picked up the king's crown and carefully looked at it. His subordinate told him that he will guide him to his next destination. Kezarak suggested that they walk this time. He looked at the sky and said that today is particularly beautiful. This overpowered monster with black hair and silver glasses is the leader of T's. The scene shifts, and we are taken back to the time Ofen asked Van to take her with him. She said that she wants to tear Kezarak to shreds. Van turned around and told the girl that she is out of her mind. Ofen told him that she can't just continue living her life as if nothing happened. Van told her that she would be better off spending the rest of her days in peace. He explained to her that he has no intentions of protecting her. He told her that he might even kill her by himself if she gets in his way. The girl asked him to do as he likes. She said that she doesn't care. Van walked forward and told her that he is heading to the Varkan kingdom. He asked her if she is really planning to follow him. Ofen asked him to kill her anytime she gets in the way. Van told her that they are leaving right now. Later in the night, we see Tomoto and his brother looking at Van and Ofen from a distance. Tomoto was happy to see that they had finally caught up to Van. Mongo reminded his brother that Kezarak ordered them to wait quietly. Tomoto smiled and told him that this is their chance. He said that they can capture Van and offer him to Kezarak. He told Mongo that this is their chance to repay Kezarek for taking them in. He asked him if he likes this idea. Mongo told his elder brother that he will do as he says. Tomoto was happy to hear this. He released his energy and said that they will keep tailing Van until they find a clear chance to kill him. Mongo told his brother that he understands. As they walked through the forest, Van noticed something odd. He asked Ofen to tell him the amount of times they have walked past a certain huge tree. The girl said that this is their third time. Van said that they must be lost. Ofen wondered if they are in a certain forest. She told herself that this is impossible. Van asked her if something is wrong. Ofen revealed to him that Hoxa told her a story about a certain forest when she was little. Hoxa told her that the mountain where they opened their tavern used to be a monster's lair. The entrance of this lair is called the Moor Forest. If a person steps into the Moor Forest, they can never get out. Van asked her if she is saying that they have wandered into the Moor Forest. He told her that the forest is nothing more than a ridiculous superstition. Ofen told him that the story is quite true. She said that there are countless monsters living in the Moor Forest. Immediately she said this. The tree next to him opened its multiple eyes and turned to him. Van was surprised to see the monster. Ofen quickly covered her mouth to stop herself from screaming. The tree monster smiled and raised its hand. Before it could crush Ofen, Van grabbed her and jumped out of the way. The monster's fist crushed the ground. Van threw Ofen aside when he landed on the ground. He clenched his fist and appeared in front of the monster in an instant. He swung his fist at it. The monster tried to block his attack with its branches, but it couldn't withstand Van's strength. Our boy obliterated it with a single punch. After taking care of the monster, Van called out to Ofen. He advised her to hide well if she wants to live. He raised his head up to look at the large amount of tree monsters that came to life. He couldn't believe that he thought Ofen was just telling him a folktale. The monsters screamed and charged at him. Later in the morning, we see Van take out the last monster with a single punch. After he was done with the monsters, he asked Ofen to come out of hiding. The girl stood up when she heard this. She looked at the countless bodies on the ground and asked Van if he is all right. Van said that he is fine, but he was acting strange. He noticed that his mana was draining much faster than usual. It was like the forest was sucking away his mana. Van's vision quickly became blurry. He realized that he was hallucinating. Van wondered about the kind of forest he is in. Immediately he thought of this. Someone landed behind him. Van quickly turned around. He saw Tomoto behind him. The man smiled and told Van that it is already too late. He covered his hand with his mana and charged at Van. He tried to hit our boy in his chest. Van was able to dodge Tomoto's attack. He was shocked to see the man. He didn't know what was happening. Before he could step back, Tomoto placed his leg on his neck and grabbed his arm. He locked Van down with his position. Van was unable to move because the hallucinations were draining his strength. While Van was trying to put himself together, Tomoto said that this fight might go easier than he expected. Tomoto is the executive of Tease who is responsible for battlefield operations. He smiled and told Van that a sorcerer shouldn't waste their mana so carelessly. He said that mana is quite precious. Van was shocked to hear this. He called the man a cocky bastard. He raised his other hand and used to give him a heavy punch in his chest. His attack destroyed the ground. To Van's surprise, the man smiled at him and said that this is an unexpected result. He told Van that he is quite pathetic compared to the monsters he has faced. Tomoto didn't get a single injury. Only the ground got destroyed. Van was shocked to see this. He didn't understand how the man was still fine. Tomoto told him that he is far too weak. He freed Van from his grip. Immediately he did this. His brother appeared next to Van. He gave our boy a bone-crushing punch that sent him flying. Van crashed into the ground. Tomoto stood up and asked Mongo about what he did with Ofen. Mongo informed him that he knocked the girl out and tossed her aside. Tomoto told him that he did well. He said that they will have some fun with Ofen later. Van pushed his body up and looked around. He realized that he didn't have enough mana to do anything. Tomoto revealed to him that they were ordered to not act rashly. They were only supposed to stay hidden and follow his trail. He told Van that this is something that only weak and cowardly dogs do. Mongo agreed with his older brother. He said that they are strong dogs. Tomoto smiled and said that they also need to avenge Hoxa and Brigetten. Immediately he said this. Van appeared in front of him and gave him a punch. Tomoto easily blocked our boy's punch with his arm. Van was shocked to see that the man was able to withstand his punch again. Mongo quickly gave Van a punch in his stomach with his huge hand. Our boy coughed out when he received the punch. Mongo tightened his fist and sent Van flying with his punch. Our boy slammed his back on a tree and got knocked out. Before he could even regain his consciousness, Mongo appeared in front of him. Fortunately, Van opened his eyes before the huge man could attack. He clenched his fist and charged at Mongo. Before his punch could land on Mongo, Tomoto appeared out of nowhere and used his leg to block the attack. Van was shocked to see this. Long ago, there was a tribe that spread fear on the continent. The people of this tribe were known as the perfectly armored ones. The tribe is known as the Cataphractoi tribe. The members of this tribe possessed two distinctive runes. From ancestor to present, every member of the tribe possessed only two runes. These runes are the armor rune and the fist blade rune. The sorcerer who possesses the armor rune blocks every enemy attack, while the sorcerer of the fist blade rune severs the enemy's lifeline in an instant. The Cataphractoi tribe possess a shield that can stop anything and a spear that can pierce through anything. This is how they were able to earn the reputation of being the perfectly armored ones. The moment he blocked Van's attack, Tomoto moved out of the way and allowed his brother to give Van another bone-crushing punch. The attack sent him flying. Tomoto completely activated his rune and covered himself in a knight armor. He asked his brother to stop joking around. He told Van that he came fully prepared because he heard he killed Hoxa and Brigettin. He said that he is disappointed. The moment he said this, Mongo covered his hands with huge gauntlets. The two men were ready to end the fight. Tomoto's rune is the armor rune. It allows a mana-forged armor to envelope and protect the caster's entire body. Mongo's rune is the fist blade rune. It gives the user access to mana-forged gauntlets that will trigger an explosion when they come in contact with the target. While lying on the ground, Van noticed that the forest was still sucking his mana. He took a look at his hand and saw that the clothes around it were slowly dissipating. He realized that his annihilation fist, which consumes a lot of mana, is at its limit. Van didn't like this situation. He didn't want to summon an armament that requires him to sacrifice his lifespan, but he had no choice since his mana was getting drained. Tomoto told our boy that he is too weak. He told him that he is pissing him off. He asked Mongo to only leave Van's head. He said that they will need his head for when they report to Kezarek. Mongo stepped forward and said that he will take care of it. Van stood up and asked Tomoto if he just mentioned Kezarek. He realized that the men belonged to the T's mercenary group. He said that this is good. He released some energy and told them that he is only going to question them once because he is tired. He asked the men to tell him where Kezarek is. He assured them that he will spare them if they answer willingly. Tomoto was annoyed to see that Van dared to mention his master's name. He said that a weakling shouldn't speak of his master's name so easily. He charged at Van out of anger. Van released more energy and stretched out his hand. He told Tomoto that the people in his organization don't understand reason. Tomoto didn't understand what Van was doing. Before he could reach our boy, a scary monster with multiple heads appeared next to him. The monster opened its mouth and let out two terrifying daggers. Van grabbed the daggers and told Tomoto that he threw away their last chance. He took a stance and asked the man not to blame him for what is about to happen. These daggers are the third manifested armaments. They are known as the Death Spirit daggers. Tomoto stopped moving when he saw the daggers. He felt an ominous aura coming from the daggers. He carefully looked at Van. He knew that our boy was about to attack. Immediately he thought of this. Van charged at him. He swung his daggers at Tomoto's leg. The daggers cut through the armor and landed a cut on the man's leg. Tomoto was shocked to see what happened. He couldn't believe that his mana armor got pierced. His brother appeared behind him and swung his fist at Van. Our boy easily dodged his attack by jumping back. Before moving back, he landed a cut on Mongo's arm. Mongo informed his older brother that he got hurt. Tomoto recalled that our boy was dying a moment ago. He found it odd that he was now energetic. He didn't understand the kind of rune Van was using. He apologized to our boy for underestimating him. He told him that he was mistaken about him. He released more mana and charged at Van with his brother. He told our boy that nothing has changed. Van raised his daggers when he saw the men coming at him. He appeared next to Tomoto and swung his dagger at him. He landed a cut on his thigh. He moved past Mongo and landed several cuts on him. He was able to tear them apart and move past them in an instant. Blood gushed out of the brothers' bodies. Tomoto quickly turned around and called our boy a filthy rat. To his surprise, Van was no longer behind him. The man asked Mongo about where Van is. Our boy appeared in front of Mongo. He kicked the huge man in his leg and made him lose his balance. He moved his dagger beneath Mongo and got ready to stab him. Unfortunately, Tomoto appeared in front of his brother. He pushed Mongo away and grabbed Van's dagger. He landed on the ground and held on to Van's dagger. He was happy to see that he caught our boy. He asked Mongo to crush Van. To his surprise, nothing happened while he was struggling to hold on to Van. Tomoto called out to his brother and asked him about what he is doing. Unfortunately, Mongo was on the ground. He seemed to be having trouble moving. His gauntlets were slowly dissipating. Tomoto was surprised to see that his brother was unresponsive. He quickly turned around and called out to him again. Immediately he did this, he fell to his knees. Tomoto didn't understand what was happening. He noticed that his mana was getting drained. He asked Van to tell him the trickery he is using. The moment he said this, several tiny heads appeared on his leg. The heads were eating his armor. Tomoto quickly turned around when he felt the creatures on his leg. He wondered about what they were. He had never seen anything so horrifying. With a terrifying look on his face, Van asked Tomoto if something is wrong. He asked him if his body won't move. The Death Spirit Dagger is a dagger inhabited by spirits that feed on mana. When this dagger cuts a target, mana-eating spirits cling to the injury and weaken the target's rune. As the spirits ate through Tomoto's armor, Van informed him that the spirits will feed on any mana they can find until they are full. Until that time comes, the spirits will never stop. Tomoto screamed out in pain as the spirits tore him apart. He asked them to leave his mana. He said that the mana belongs to him. He screamed and said that it is his mana. Some minutes later, we see a malnourished-looking man in front of Van. Our boy asked Tomoto if this is their true form. He asked him if they have been strengthening their bodies with mana the entire time. Tomoto asked him to shut up. He said that this isn't their true form. He asked Van to give them back their mana. He said that it was an artificial mana that Kezarek bestowed upon them. He asked Van to return it. Tomoto and his brother looked lifeless and severely malnourished. Their bodies looked nothing like before. Van did not know what artificial mana was. He asked the man if he is saying that their mana was manufactured artificially. He asked Tomoto to tell him more. He reminded him that he and his brother won't be able to last long in a fight with their frail bodies. Tomoto was annoyed to hear this. He said that this is not true. The scene shifts, and we are taken to the past. We are taken to the Cataphractoi tribe site. The place was filled with human skulls and bones. We see Kezarek and a man leaving a building. The man told Kezarek that he looks forward to doing business with Tease again. Immediately he said this. Kezarek saw 2 children tied to a tree. The man explained to him that the children were born with bodies that cannot naturally store mana. He referred to them as the tribe's shame. He said that the children have survived for 5 years, but they should be dying soon. The man asked Kezarek not to bother himself with worthless weak trash. Kezarek asked the man if he can take the 2 boys. The man allowed him to do so. 10 years later, we are taken to a burning village. The village was filled with several bodies. A man walked up to Tomoto and Mongo and told them that they have massacred another innocent village. The person who said this was Kezarek. The leader of the group asked Tomoto to tell him why he slaughters humans like this. Tomoto explained to him that he is reminded of his younger self when he sees the weak and the useless. With a smile on his face, he told Kezarek that they would have lived out their lives like trash if they hadn't met him. Tomoto said that he hates thinking about the weak. He said that it disgusts him and he cannot get over it if he doesn't kill them with his own hands. Kezarek told him that his killings are nothing but petty self-loathing. He asked him to refrain from such acts. He told him that self-harm isn't beautiful. Tomoto accepted his master's order. The scene shifts, and we are taken to the present. We see Tomoto screaming at the top of his voice. He said that he and his brother are no longer weak trash. He and Mongo charged at Van with their frail bodies. Our boy closed his eyes and charged at them. He tore them apart with his daggers. Tomoto called out to Kezarek before losing consciousness. Van walked forward as blood gushed out of the men's bodies. With a serious look on his face, Van said that the weaker dog always barks the loudest. The moment he said this, he fell to the ground and lost consciousness. In the next scene, we see Linda smiling. She was smiling at Van. Our boy stretched out his hand to reach her. He loved this beautiful dream. He didn't want to wake up from it. Before he could touch Linda, Van opened his eyes. Ofen noticed that he moved. She asked him if he is awake. Van saw that Ofen was carrying him on a wooden board that she made. He asked her about what happened. The girl revealed to him that he collapsed and passed out. She told him that she believed that they needed to get out of the Moor forest immediately, so she decided to carry him out without waking him up. Van asked her if this is what led to this situation. Ofen laughed and told him that she rushed out in a hurry. Van recalled that he passed out after using the death spirit daggers. He told Ofen that his body is not light. The girl told him that she has always been strong. She told Van that this is her way of helping him since she doesn't have any runecrafts. Our boy asked her if she is over 10 years old. Ofen told him that she is. She said that she is 13 years old. Our boy told her that it is too late for her to manifest a rune. Ofen smiled and agreed with him. She said that people say that a person will instinctively know the kind of power their rune possesses when it manifests. She remembered watching her brother use his rune. The girl also eagerly waited for the incredible moment when she would manifest her rune. She used to be thrilled to go to bed every night. Unfortunately, she never got the chance to manifest her rune. Ofen said that she might have been able to save Hoxa and her siblings if she had a rune. Van told her that the situation could have actually worsened if she had a rune. Ofen didn't hear what he said. She asked him if he could repeat what he said, then asked her to stop her pointless chatter and focus on finding a way out of the forest. Ofen accepted his order. A while later, we see Ofen fall to her knees and struggle to catch her breath. She was relieved to see that they finally got out of the more forest. Van noticed that his mana was no longer getting drained. While breathing heavily, Ofen asked Van if they should search for the nearest village or head straight to the Varkan kingdom. Van sat in a lotus position and asked Ofen to keep watch. The girl didn't understand what was happening. She asked Van about what he is doing. Our boy revealed to her that he needs to gather his mana again. He told her that his senses might get dulled. He asked her to keep an eye on their surroundings. Ofen accepted his order. A while later, we see Van gather his mana. When he was done, he thought about something that didn't make sense to him. He recalled that the two brothers who fought him showed no signs of mana drainage. Their mana only started leaving their bodies after our boy cut them with the death spirit daggers. This means that the more forest was only draining our boy's mana. Van stood up when he was done thinking. Ofen smiled brightly when she saw him. She told him that he looked very lifeless a moment ago. She said that he now looks like he is overflowing with energy. Van explained to her that mana is the same as life force for a sorcerer. He asked her if she knows where the nearest village is. He said that he wants to use a carrier bird. Ofen told him that she knows where the village is. She asked him to follow her. The scene shifts, and we are shown the bodies of Tomoto and Mongo. We see the area covered with their blood. A masked individual appeared in the forest and carefully looked at their bodies. The man noticed that Tomoto and Mongo had their mana drained. The scene shifts, and we are taken to a village. We see Van attach a letter to the leg of a carrier bird. Immediately he did this. The bird flew away. Ofen asked our boy about who he is sending the message to. Van told her that it is going to an information broker that he knows. He said that he needs intel on artificial mana and Kezerak's runecrafts. Our boy wanted to know if the leader of Tees truly has 3 runes. He said that Kezerak won't be an easy opponent. Ofen asked him if it is really a big deal to possess 3 runes. Van explained to her that it is extremely rare to possess 2 runes. He said that he didn't think that a sorcerer could even have 3 runes. Ofen told our boy that he really knows a lot, since Van is young and incredibly strong. Ofen asked him if he is a noble. Our boy asked her to stop. He told the girl that he only answered her question up until now as payment for saving him. He told her that he is not of noble birth. He suggested that they drop the small talk. Ofen nervously told him that she understands. Immediately she said this. Someone in the tavern asked his friend if he is saying that a mercenary from Tees is inside the tavern right now. Van and Ofen were shocked to hear this. They quickly turned to the table of the 3 friends. The man who said that someone from Tees is there asked his friend to lower his voice. He asked him if he has lost his mind. His friend apologized to him. He said that he was so shocked. He asked the man about how he knows about the mercenary. His friend reminded him that he is a local. He told him that he hears different things. He advised the man to avoid making eye contact with the mercenary for no reason. Immediately he said this. Van appeared next to him. He asked him if he just said that someone from the Tees mercenary group is there. The man and his friends were shocked to see Van. He asked our boy if he is also curious about Tees mercenaries. Van said that he is. The man placed his hand around Van's neck and dragged him close to himself. He laughed and said that our boy is at the age where he should be curious about these kinds of things. He moved his head close to Van and asked him to listen carefully. He said that he will only explain once. Van quickly used his hand to cover his nose when he smelled the man's breath. The man advised him not to make eye contact. He revealed to Van that the man behind them is a member of the Tees mercenary group. Van carefully turned around to see the mercenary. He stood up after hearing what the man told him. The man was surprised to see this. He asked him about where he is going. Van moved close to the bar and told the mercenary that he heard he is from the T's mercenary group. He asked him if this is true. The mercenary told him that it is true. He turned to Van and asked him if he wants something from him. The mercenary turned out to be Kezarak, the leader of the T's mercenary group. Van did not expect to hear that the man in front of him was really from T's. He did something that shocked Kezarak. He knelt down and bowed his head to Kezarak. He begged him to forgive his sudden discourtesy. He told Kezarak that he wants to join the T's mercenary group. He begged him to take him in. Kezarak was surprised to hear this. The information Van has gathered on Kezarak so far comes down to two things. The first is that he possesses 3 runes, and the second is that there is a high possibility that he is headed to the Varkan kingdom. Beyond this, Van hasn't been able to get anything else. There is a limit to what an information broker can find, and it is impossible for our boy to dig through the mercenary group and find Kezarak. Every T's mercenary he has met so far was so consumed by fear and loyalty that they refused to say a word about Kezarak and chose death without hesitation. There is only one informant in our boy's hand, but it will take him at least a month to get anything out of Bridgeton. Since Van has reached a dead end, he decided to use his last option to obtain information. He decided to throw himself to the T's mercenary group as bait. He told Kezarak that he is nothing special. He said that he is a poor kid from an ordinary family. He told him that he was fortunate enough to be born with a rune, and he has worked hard to become a sorcerer. He said that the only way for a commoner to rise in this world is through mercenary work. He told Kezarak that he would like to join the prestigious T's group. Our boy wondered about how Kezarak will react to his offer. Kezarak carefully looked at him. He knew that mana is the same as life force for a sorcerer. A person can learn many things about a sorcerer through their mana. They can learn about their physical exhaustion and even their emotional shifts. Just a moment ago, Kezarak sensed the mana that Van was releasing. He could feel the overwhelming killing intent that our boy possessed. Even within the T's mercenary group, there is no one that gives off a killing intent like this. What was more shocking to Kezarak was the overwhelming mana that Van possessed. The man recalled that he has met countless noble heirs from many kingdoms. Among those around the same age as Van, there are only 3 people who possess the same amount of mana as him. Kezarak couldn't believe that Van called himself a boy from a poor and ordinary home. He knew that no poor boy could possess this type of killing intent and mana. He saw our boy as a graceless boy. He wondered if he was trying to infiltrate T's by lying to him. He wondered about what he should do with Van. He told him that he needs to take the entrance test. Van was surprised to hear this. He asked the man if he is serious. He was surprised to see that Kezarak accepted his request without a hint of doubt. Kezarak stood up and reminded Van that they are not a royal army. He said that they are simply a mercenary band. He asked our boy if he was expecting some grand procedure. Van asked him about what he should do for the test. Kezarak told him that it is simple. He explained to him that he simply needs to have a brief personal interview with their leader. He asked Van if he will follow him. Our boy was shocked to hear that he could meet Kezarak this easily. Of course, Kezarak was lying. He was the one who personally recruited each and every mercenary in T's. The man only had one thing that he was curious about. He wondered about the identity of the boy in front of him. He didn't know if Van was a plant from another mercenary group or a royal assassin sent to kill him by another kingdom. The situation between Kezarak and Van was like a chess match. No one knew which move to make. Kezarak wondered if Van was a knight of the Ethos Order. He knew that the organization likes hounding him. Van was also confused by what was happening. No matter how he thought about it, the situation seemed strange. If Kezarak was someone that he could meet this easily, then the extreme vigilance of the T's members doesn't make sense. Although Kezarak wasn't aware of Van's identity, he was certain that our boy was after him. He could tell that Van didn't know that he is the leader of T's. He wondered if this is just an act to make him drop his guard. Van wondered if he should refuse Kezarak's offer. He reminded himself that this entrance test could be a trap. Kezarak knew that Van's goal is to infiltrate T's ranks. He was certain that our boy wouldn't turn down the entrance test. Although he didn't like it, Van knew that he couldn't let this golden opportunity slip away. He told himself that he won't have to go all the way to Varkan if the man in front of him is telling the truth. Kezarak realized that he had to make a decision right now. He could either lure Van back to his base and uncover who he is, or he could kill Van right there. Our boy got up and told Kezarak that he will do anything to join the T's mercenary group. Kezarak told him that his leader is outside. He asked Van to follow him. He assured him that he will let him meet his leader right away. Van and Kezarek walked towards the door. Ofen was surprised to see her savior walking towards the door. She remembered that Van asked her to sit tight and wait. She noticed that our boy was walking with someone. Ofen instantly recognized the person's beard. She was shocked to see who it was. She remembered Kezarek asking Hoxa to tell him why he disgraces himself with this unsightly orphanage farce. Van and Kezarek stepped out of the tavern. Kezarek's subordinates were surprised to see him with someone. Kezarek turned to the masked man and introduced him as the leader of Tees. The moment he did this, Ofen ran out and called out to Van. She told him that the man wearing glasses is Kezarek. Immediately she said this, the masked man realized something. He quickly informed Kezarek that the guy next to him is the sorcerer who killed Hoxa and Bridgeton. Kezarek and Van quickly turned to each other. Kezarek used his rune to drag out stone statues from the ground and used them to block Van's powerful punch. Van moved past the statues and clenched his fist. With a look of anger on his face, he called Kezarek a bastard and told him that he has finally found him. He gave the man a bone-shattering punch in his chest. Kezarek only got pushed back. He was able to block Van's attack by creating a huge rock in front of his chest. The rock absorbed the attack. Kezarek told our boy that his punch was beautiful. He said that Van is definitely out of Hoxa and Bridgeton's league. He asked Van if it wasn't enough for him that he killed T's executives. He couldn't believe that our boy was now trying to infiltrate the group. He asked him about his true identity. He asked him if he is a knight sent by the Ethos Order. Van asked him to shut up and listen carefully to what he is about to say. He reminded Kezarek that he connected a sorcerer from the Zoe Kingdom to the Djiol Mountain stronghold 5 years ago. With a look of anger on his face, Van asked Kezarek to tell him where the sorcerer is now. Kezarek was surprised to hear this. He asked Van about how he knows about this event. Before he could say anything else, Van charged at him and thrust his fist at him. Kezarek quickly brought out an incomplete statue from the ground and used it to block our boy's attack. Van told the man that he is the one who will ask the questions. He told him that he must provide the answers that he wants to hear. Kezarek realized that our boy was not sent by the Ethos Order. He apologized to Van and told him that he doesn't see any reason to answer his questions. Van told him that he understands. He said that he already knew that he wouldn't give him an answer if he asked nicely. He told Kezarek that he wants to see if he will still say this after he crushes his limbs. Immediately he said this. He clenched his other fist and swung it at Kezarek's waist. The man brought out a hand from the ground and used it to block Van's attack. Van was shocked to see this. Kezarek told our boy that he has beautiful eyes. He released his mana and told him that he has a beautiful talent. He said that it is sad that they met this way. The moment he heard this, Van turned around. A huge stone fist came out of the ground and hit him in the back. The attack sent him flying. Kezarek released some mana from his fingers and told Van that he still has a long way to go. Immediately he said this. Several stone fists came out of the ground. Different stone statues came out of the ground. The statues carried different weapons. When Van came out of the ground, he saw the statues kneeling in front of Kezarek. Our boy quickly charged at Kezarek. The statues with shields used their shields to block Van's attack. The statues were able to block the attack, but everything behind them got destroyed. They pushed Van back. Kezarek couldn't believe that this was the runecraft of a boy who isn't even 20 years old yet. Van charged at him again. He destroyed each one of Kezarek's statues with a single punch. He jumped and charged at Kezarek again. He took out something before he reached him. Kezarek noticed that Van brought out something. He raised his hand to block our boy's attack. Van threw the thing at Kezarek. The item hit his arm. Kezarek was surprised to see a dagger in his arm. Van raised his hand and used his mana to drag the Death Spirit dagger back to himself. He raised his 2 daggers and took a stance. He asked Kezarek to prepare himself. He told him that the real fight begins now. Kezarek used his mana to push away the spirits of the dagger. He told Van that his efforts are pointless. Our boy charged at him when he heard this. He hit Kezarek with his daggers several times. He swung his fist at Kezarek at a crazy speed. The man didn't move. It seemed like he was observing Van. If one was to compare a sorcerer to a swordsman, runecraft would be seen as the sharp blade and mana would be seen as the swordsmanship that has been trained and polished over time. Among scholars, there is still an ongoing debate about runes and mana. Which one of these things is more important to a sorcerer? Most scholars agree that mana matters the most. No matter how legendary a blade that can cut anything may be, There is still a huge difference between when it is in the hands of a 3-year-old child and in the hands of a swordsman who has devoted 50 years to the sword. The gap is immeasurable. This is how decisive mana is in a sorcerer's battle. Kezarach caught Van's fist and told him that he is wasting his time. He explained to Van that he cannot hurt him with the amount of mana he has right now. He advised him to give up. Immediately he did this. He brought out 2 huge boulders from the ground and used them to attack Van. The attack sent our boy flying. Kezarach's subordinates moved close to him. The blonde man apologized to him for the sudden interruption. He informed him that the Knights of the Order are closing in. Kezarach was annoyed to hear this. He referred to the Order as tiresome pests. He asked the man to activate the formation. He told him that they are returning to tease. The moment he gave the order, the man tore a hole in space and opened a portal. Kezarach told Van that their little meeting will have to be postponed. Van stood up when he heard this. He charged at Kezarach and told him that he is not going to get away. Kezarach moved his face in front of Van's fist. Our boy quickly stopped moving his hand. He grit his teeth out of anger and asked Kezarach about what he is doing. Kezarach told Van that he won't kill him because his goal is to capture him. The moment he said this, he used his mana to slam Van's body to the ground. He told Van that he wants to give him a little life advice. He advised him to never show his desperation so openly in front of his enemy. He told him that his desperation will become his biggest weakness. After he said this, his body dissipated. Van slowly pushed himself up. He realized that he could have caught Kezarach if he had been a little more composed. He grabbed his hair and began to panic. Something told him that he has once again lost everything right before his eyes. Van said that he is sorry multiple times. He said that everything happened because of him. Immediately he said this, the dead bodies of Linda and her family appeared next to him. This creepy version of Linda asked him if everything will be okay, just because he says sorry. Van told her that he is not giving up. He begged her to give him one more chance. He asked her not to look at him with her sad eyes. When they arrived at their headquarters, Kezarach sat down. He ordered the blonde man to gather every captain and executive. The man asked him if he plans to start an all-out war with the Ethos Order. Kezarach said that he isn't. He remembered how he blocked Van's fist. He saw that his hand was heavily injured. He told the blonde man that he wants every piece of information that they can find on the boy that he just met. The scene shifts, and we are taken back some minutes earlier. We see Ofen staring at Kezarach. Her eyes were filled with pure hatred. She couldn't believe that she was looking at the man who truly caused the death of her loved ones. She remembered Hoxa and her siblings. She clenched her fist out of anger. Blood poured out of her hand. Kezarach's subordinate appeared behind her and asked her if she knows who she is glaring at with such disrespectful eyes. Ofen was shocked to hear his voice. The man hit her in the neck. Ofen slowly fell to the ground. She wanted to call out to Van, but she was unable to raise her voice. She ended up losing consciousness. A while later, we see the girl slowly open her eyes when she heard someone calling out to her. Van asked the girl to wake up. Ofen quickly raised her head up. She was surprised to see her savior next to her. Van told her that she has incredible luck for her to still be alive. The girl asked him if he killed Kezarach. Van informed her that he lost the man. He told her that Kezarach ran away. Ofen was sad to hear this. She didn't like the fact that she was unable to do anything this time around. Van reminded her that he has no plan to babysit her. He asked her to get up now if she wants to follow him. Ofen got up and asked our boy about where they are going. Van told her that they are going to the Varkan kingdom. He said that there is a good chance that Kezarach fled there. He told himself that he has drowned in despair for 1,000 years. He said that this is enough for him. Instead of wasting his time, our boy chose to move forward. He told himself that his revenge is not over yet. He said that the operation was not a complete waste of time. Due to Kezarach's reaction, our boy became certain that the hooded sorcerer was from the Zoe kingdom. He knew that he had to catch Kezarach to get more information about the sorcerer. The moment he thought of this, someone called out to him and Ofen and asked them not to move. Immediately he said this. A bunch of knights surrounded them. A blonde knight with amazing hair drew his sword and said that they are a knight order dispatched from the Ethos Order. He said that they will be conducting some checks and questioning. He asked Van and Ofen to cooperate with them. Van recalled that he had heard of the Ethos Order. The Ethos Order is an order based in the Awana Kingdom that trains and maintains its own Knight Corps. This was how Van's father-in-law described the order to him. Our boy apologized to the blonde knight and told him that he cannot comply. He explained to him that he has a long road ahead of him. The knight took out a red orb and told Van that he only has to take a simple test. He asked him to simply place his hand on the device and stay still. Van asked him if he expects him to lay his hand on some device when he doesn't know what it does. The knight told him that things will become troublesome for both sides if he continues to act uncooperative. He asked Van if he is certain that he wants to continue acting this way. Our boy became angry when he heard this. He wondered if he should just kill the knights. He quickly realized that this would just make his problem bigger. Someone called out to the knight, whose name is Pollen, and asked him to stand down. He told him that Van is not Kezarach. Pollen was surprised to see the old knight. He referred to him as Commander. This man with the eye patch is the Knight Commander of the Ethos Order. His name is Hugh Zainal. Pollen told Hugh that they still haven't verified our boy's mana. The commander seemed disappointed with Pollen when he heard this. He asked him if he didn't feel Kezarach's mana clashing with another person's mana on his way there. The fact that a boy was left alone amid the traces of a fierce battle and there was a faint mana coming from him is weird. Hugh told his knight that our boy's mana matches perfectly with the mana that was clashing with Kezarach's own. He said that Kezarach probably broke away in the middle of the battle and left Van behind at the scene. The commander smiled and asked our boy if he is right. Van didn't give him a reply. Hugh laughed and told Pollen that a report actually came in. He revealed to Pollen that Kezarach has returned to T's main base. Pollen was annoyed to hear this. He told his commander that he should have mentioned this first. Hugh collected the orb from him and apologized to Van. He explained to him that Kezarach has a rune that lets him alter his appearance. He said that they cannot tell him apart without the mana reader in his hand. He asked our boy to understand them. Van told the commander that he will be leaving now since the misunderstanding has been cleared up. Immediately our boy turned around. Hugh asked him if he wants to kill Kezarach. Van was surprised to hear this. He stopped moving and turned to the man. Hugh explained to him that he has seen people with eyes like his own, eyes that are consumed by revenge and hatred, the eyes of a boy who has fallen into a deep, dark abyss. Hugh stretched out his hand and told Van that they share a common enemy if the person he is staring at with his eyes is Kezarach. He asked Van if he is willing to join forces with them in order to take down their mutual. Pollen was shocked to hear this. He called out to his commander and asked him about what he is saying. Hugh asked him if there is a problem. He asked him if anyone in their cult has actually faced Kezarach in battle, or if there is anyone who knows the full scope of his other runecraft. Pollen told him that this has never happened. Hugh explained to him that Van is the only person who has fought Kezarach directly. He said that our boy is a very valuable source of first-hand information. He turned to Van and asked him if he is interested. He told him that it is better for them to work together. Van declined his offer. He said that he has no reason to trust them. Hugh smiled and revealed to him that they have detailed information on T's and they know Kezarach's next destination and movements. Van was shocked to hear this. Hugh laughed out loud and told our boy that he can tell from his reaction that he doesn't know about Kezarach's movements. He asked him if he now finds his offer tempting. Van was annoyed to see the commander laughing. He realized that the order will have plenty of information on Kezarach that he doesn't know. Ofen called out to our boy to hear his opinion. Van said that he doesn't like this situation at all, but he has no other choice. The scene shifts, and we are taken to the temporary camp of the Ethos Order Knight Corps. Inside the commander's tent, we see him looking at a torn picture. He remembered the face of a man whose body was covered in tree branches. The man was holding a severed head. He referred to Hugh as grandfather. He asked him if he just arrived. The moment he remembered these words, Hugh snapped back to reality. He realized that he managed to forget about the man for a while. He didn't expect that he would meet someone with the same eyes as his grandson's own. He wondered about what Van has been through for him to have such terrifying eyes. The moment he thought of this, someone asked him if he can enter the tent. Hugh asked him to come in. The person turned out to be Van. Our boy told the commander that he heard he asked for him. Hugh apologized to him for disturbing him while he is resting. He told Van that he is not doing anything complicated. He asked our boy to place his hand on a red orb in the middle of a dragon's chest. He explained to him that the monster is a mana meter that measures a sorcerer's mana. He asked Van if he is familiar with the divine tier system of the Aiden continent. Across every kingdom on the continent, sorcerers are subjected to mandatory mana measurements and identity registration for systematic oversight. This is known as the divine tier system. It measures total mana and assigns a rank accordingly. The rank starts from the lowest, which is the 13th divine tier, and it goes up to the highest, which is the 1st divine tier. Hugh told Van that he wants to know the level his ally is at since they will be fighting with their backs to each other from here on out. Van believed that the man had a valid point. He believed that it was better for him to know where he stands on the continent right now. He placed his hand on the red orb. Immediately he did this. The meter opened its eyes and began to scream. Van asked the commander if it is supposed to make this much noise. The commander became scared. He knew that there is only one thing that could make the meter open its eyes. He said that this should be impossible. The meter began to gather fire in its mouth. Hugh quickly turned to Van. He asked him to get back. He said that the meter is going to explode. Van was shocked to hear this. If we compare the divine tier ranks to a martial artist's realm, we will say that the 13th divine tier is just the entry stage. It is the point where someone just awakens their swordsmanship talent. A 9th divine tier is a veteran who has fought through countless battles and come back alive. A 5th divine tier is regarded as a living embodiment of war. It is a being who is capable of shaking the armies of entire kingdoms. The meter released its flames in the air. The flames showed the number 10 in the air. Hugh was shocked to see this. He couldn't believe that the meter was saying that Van was a 10th divine tier. Van told the commander that the explosion didn't take place. He said that the meter has determined that he is a 10th divine tier. Hugh nervously agreed with him. He knew that the meter only opens its eyes when it detects sorcerers of 7th divine tier or higher. It judges the person with a massive blast and explosion. He wondered if the meter really malfunctioned. This was his first time seeing a case like this. Van realized that the meter tried to detect his sealed mana. He knew that he needed to be careful if he is ever in this position again. Hugh asked our boy to have a seat. He introduced himself to Van as one of the commanders of the Ethos Knight Order. He asked Van for his name. Our boy shared his name with the commander. Hugh sat down and told him that he has a fine name. Since they were done with the divine tier measurement, Hugh suggested that they go straight to the point. He revealed to Van that his order currently believes that Kezharak possesses a total of 3 runes. However, aside from the rune that alters his appearance, the order doesn't know the other 2. Hugh told Van that this is why he wants to get information from the only person that has first-hand experience in fighting Kezharak. Van told him that he will share what he knows. Upon hearing about Van's fight with Kezharak, the commander deduced that Kezharak's stone statue rune might be a summoning-type runecraft or an imbuement type that is tied to stone. He told Van that he will remember this when they make a plan. He thanked him for his information. He told our boy that he will now share what they know about Kezharak and tease with him. He asked him about how much he knows about Kezharak and his mercenary group. Our boy told Hugh that he doesn't really know anything about Kezharak. He said that the only thing he knows about Tease is that there are a pretty strong mercenary group that rose to prominence 5 years ago. The commander decided to start by talking about Kezharak. According to him, Kezharak was adopted as the heir of a noble family when he was young. The noble who adopted him was a sponsor of the Ethos Order. No one knew who Kezharak's real parents were or where he was born. There was nothing on him. One day, the noble who adopted Kezharak was brutally murdered by him. Kezharak immediately fled the scene of the crime after killing the man. After this, the Ethos Order searched for Kezharak for years, but they were unable to find anything on him. It was as if he never existed in the first place. Around 5 years ago, just as the Order was about to give up, information about Kezharak suddenly started flooding in. Van asked Hugh if this was around the time that Tease started rising. The commander told him that he is correct. He said that there is something else. He revealed to Van that someone is hiding Kezharak and helping Tease grow. Our boy was shocked to hear this. The commander opened a map and said that the Order has narrowed down the force helping Kezharak to a certain extent. This force is Argo. It is the kingdom where Tease's main base is located. The mercenary group has mercenaries around the 13th divine tier and 12th divine tier executives. There are 4 11th divine tier division heads. And then there is Kezharak, the leader who is at the 9th divine tier. Hugh explained to Van that Kezharak and Tease are probably Argo's hunting dogs who clean up the kingdom's dirty mess. The reason why Kezharak's information suddenly started leaking out was probably because Argo wanted to carve Tease's name into the continent's consciousness. Since the Ethos Order didn't attack Tease despite knowing their base, Van asked Hugh if it is because the base is in Argo. The commander told him that he is correct. He explained to Van that it will be suicide for them to fight Tease and Argo if the kingdom is really the one behind them. Argo is on a completely different level from ordinary weak kingdoms. It is not an opponent that a mere religious order can declare war on. Van realized that Argo must have sorcerers who are at least at the 9th divine tier or higher. Hugh slammed his hand on the table and said that they are not completely out of options. He revealed to Van that Kezarek will leave the main base and head to the Awana Kingdom with a small group in exactly 15 days. The commander said that their order will set up an ambush along the route that Kezarek will be taking in advance. They will then launch a surprise attack. Van asked him if his information is reliable. Hugh told him that he can't reveal his source, but the information is reliable. Van stood up and told Hugh that he understands. He said that they can go over the details when they plan for the operation. He told the commander that he will join them and discuss everything at that time. After saying this, he walked towards the exit. Hugh asked Van if he would be prying by asking him about why he is so determined to kill Kezarek. Before leaving the tent, Van told the man that he would be prying. After saying this, he stepped out. Hugh decided not to push our boy. Immediately, he stepped out of the tent. A female knight greeted him. She shook his hand and introduced herself as Naomi. She asked our boy for his name. Van shared his name with her, with a smile on her face. The woman welcomed him and told him that she hopes they catch Kezarek together. Naomi is the commander's aide. Van told the woman that it is no problem. The moment he said this, someone screamed and asked Naomi about what she is doing. The person turned out to be Pollen. Naomi asked him about why he is yelling. The knight turned to our boy and asked him if his name is Van. With a look of anger on his face, he told Van that their commander took pity on him and brought him there. He said that they still haven't confirmed whether he is a sorcerer who will actually be of any help. He asked Van to follow him to the arena. Our boy told Pollen that he doesn't feel like proving anything to him. Pollen was annoyed to hear this. The commander stepped out and laughed. He said that Pollen seems to have a lot of complaints. Pollen said that the entire order actually has complaints. He explained to Hugh that they haven't verified whether Van is a sorcerer that they can trust. Hugh knew that the group was going to be walking the line between life and death with Van. He believed that they couldn't allow any conflict and resentment within the group. He asked Van about what he thinks. He asked him if things won't be easier for everyone if the men sorted out the pecking order once and for all. Van decided to accept the duel. He walked forward with Pollen. Naomi said that she doesn't understand why Pollen is so worked up. The commander smiled and said that this just means that Pollen cares very much about the knights. Naomi asked her commander about Van's divine tier. Hugh laughed and revealed to her that our boy is at the 10th divine tier. Naomi also laughed when she heard this. She quickly became shocked. She couldn't believe that Van was a 10th divine tier. At the arena, we see several knights gather around the stage. Van and Pollen were on the stage. Pollen explained to our boy that every knight gathered there will judge whether he is a sorcerer that is truly worthy of fighting alongside them through this duel. He told Van that the order doesn't need weak sorcerers. He drew his sword and told our boy that they will throw him out on the spot if he shows them something pathetic. He asked Van to show them everything he has. Van asked the knight if he can add one condition to the duel. Pollen did not expect to hear this. Before he could say anything, the referee asked them to begin. The moment he heard this, Van charged at Pollen at a crazy speed. He swung his leg at the man's head. Pollen was able to block the attack with his sword, but he got pressed down. The impact of the attack shattered the stage. Van jumped back to create some distance between himself and Pollen. He charged at him again. He appeared in front of Pollen and gave him several kicks in his stomach. The knight screamed out in pain. He wasn't even able to react to the attack. Van gave him a bone-crushing kick in the head. He told Pollen that he wants him to shut up and live quietly if he wins the duel. Before the fight began, Van told himself that it is better for him to subdue his opponent than to kill him. He noticed that the small amount of mana that he is allowed to use is slowly increasing. He believed that this was a perfect time for him to test a new armament. He hoped that Pollen wouldn't die. He wrapped his legs in some greaves and charged at Pollen. He gave the knight a powerful kick in the head. These greaves are Van's 5th armaments. They are known as the Black Heaven Greaves. These greaves store mana and then detonate it to use the thrust for movement and striking power. The explosion power is equal to the amount of mana stored. The scene shifts and we see Pollen wake up on the ground. When he looked around, he saw that they were already at night. The knights all gathered around a huge fire. When Pollen raised his head up, Naomi informed him that they are taking a short break on their way to the operation site. Pollen was surprised to hear this. Naomi explained to him that they have all agreed to arrive near the ambush point early and fine-tune the details. She revealed to Pollen that they have been moving throughout the 2 days he was knocked out. Pollen couldn't believe what he was hearing, since he got taken down without being able to put up a fight. Pollen asked Naomi if our boy is a 10th divine tier. Naomi told him that he is correct. She revealed to him that Van is only 17 years old. Pollen couldn't believe what he was hearing. Naomi suggested that Van could be a royal from some absurdly powerful empire. Pollen told her that this would actually make so much sense. The woman told him that everyone is totally interested in Van. They are all desperate to get on his good side. Pollen stood up and said that our boy was a monster from the start. He told Naomi that he completely lost. The woman asked him about where he is going. Pollen walked up to our boy. A bald man sitting next to Van asked the man if he is finally awake. Pollen stretched out his hand and introduced himself to Van again. He apologized for his rude behavior. He told our boy that he never expected him to be such a strong sorcerer. Pollen is also one of the commander's aide. Van shook his hand and told him that he understands. He wondered why the man was talking when he asked him to live quietly. Pollen sat next to our boy and gently hit him in the chest. He asked him about how he was able to reach 10th divine tier at his age. Van asked him if it is a really big deal. Pollen told him that it is. A huge man informed our boy that Pollen has been acting like his nose is in the clouds ever since he hit 11th divine tier. A man next to the huge man said that Pollen has finally met his match. He said that the knight now understands that the world is a big place. Pollen was annoyed to hear this. He said that he was never full of himself. He told his comrades that he is not weak. It is just that Van is not normal. The huge man told him that Van can actually drink. He said that he likes our boy the more he sees him. Pollen froze in shock when he heard this. A woman sitting next to Van asked the man if he is serious. She reminded him that he was unable to touch a single hair on Van's head during their spar. The man stood up and said that he is better than Turtul. He said that Turtul surrendered immediately. Turtul reminded him that he is the idiot who charged in without even reading his opponent's level. The woman next to Van placed her hand on his shoulder and laughed out loud. She told our boy that the men are so petty. Our boy didn't know what to say. The woman explained to him that the reason everyone was wary of him at first was because he is so young. She told him that no one could have imagined that he would be such a strong sorcerer. She explained to Van that they can't put their lives in the hands of someone they cannot trust. She said that even though her comrades look like fools, they are fathers, mothers, children, grandkids, and people with families. They have something to protect and a home to go back to. Van assured the woman that he is fine. He told her that she doesn't have to worry about him. The woman laughed and told him that he is a really good kid. She told him that she will introduce him to her daughter once the mission is over. She assured him that he will like her. One of the men turned to a woman known as Selena and asked her about what she said that she wanted to do after this expedition. Selena revealed to him that she is going on a trip to Cam Beach with her parents. Another knight said that he needs to take his kids to see the sea. A man with beard said that his family hates the sea. The bald man said that he has to entertain his daughter all day. He said that he is already scared. A man next to him said that he is going with Elena to look at engagement rings. He told his comrades that he will probably get dragged around all day. The bald man asked him not to say things like this. He said that someone always dies when they have this talks. The man next to him asked him about why he would say something so unlucky. Pollen told the man that their bald comrade has a point. The bald man turned to Van and told him that they still haven't heard anything about him. He told our boy that they are curious about him. The man next to him said that Van might be of royal blood since he is a 10th divine tier at age 17. The bald man said that our boy might be on a secret mission to beat up criminals to become the heir. Van placed his cup down when he heard this. He suddenly became sad. Everyone became quiet when they noticed this. The bald man asked his friend if they messed things up. His friend told him that it is better they shut up. The woman next to Van stood up and raised her cup up. She asked her comrades not to get carried away. She told them that they need to just drink. A man next to her raised his cup and said that she is right. He told his comrades that they just need to eat and sleep. Van stood up and walked forward. He said that he wants to get some air. The bald man turned to Ofen and asked her if Van isn't her sibling. He asked her if she isn't going to go after him. Ofen told him that they are not related. She said that she will just get in the way if she follows our boy. The bald man's friend told him that it is better they just shut up. The bald man nervously agreed with him. The woman asked the both of them not to say a word. The scene shifts and we see Van sitting at the edge of a cliff. He was holding a stick. He used the stick to draw Linda in the sand. He looked at the drawing with eyes filled with sadness. While he was looking at the drawing, he heard someone approaching him. He quickly turned around. The person turned out to be Hugh. The commander asked him to calm down. He explained to Van that he came to check on him because he heard that his squad might have gone too far. He asked our boy if he is all right. Van told him that he is fine. He asked him not to worry about him. Hugh could tell that something was wrong. He moved close to Van and asked him if the anger he has towards Kezarak is a desire for revenge. Van didn't say anything to him. Hugh went down and grabbed our boy's hand. Van was shocked to see this. He quickly moved his hand away. He asked the commander about what he is doing. Hugh explained to him that hatred is a massive fire that spreads within the heart. He told him that this fire might feel like it is making him stronger, but once the flame burns out, all that is left is a heart reduced to ashes. Van didn't respond to the man. He simply stared at him. Hugh patted him on his back and told him that he hopes he doesn't end up burning his own heart to nothing. He turned around and slowly walked away. He asked Van to pull himself together. He told him that they have to move early again tomorrow. He advised him to get back into his tent and rest. After the man left, Van raised his head up to see the moon. He focused his attention on the moon. At the camp, the bald man whose name is Turtul slowly moved away from the group. His friend called out to him and asked him if he is heading to bed. Turtul told his friend that he is simply going to the bathroom. As he walked forward, Turtul called his friend an idiot and said that his mouth is always the problem. He told himself that he needs to apologize to Van when he gets back. The moment he said this, he saw something in front of him. He bent down to get a better look at a stone statue. He wondered why something like this was here. Immediately he thought of this. The stone statue extended its body at a crazy speed and crushed the man's head. It was a swift death. Someone walked forward and said that it is natural for something like this to happen when they are drinking right before an important mission. The person said that the foolish knights of the Ethos Order will learn a lesson with their lives. He said that they will understand how cruel the price of carelessness can be. The person who said this was Kezarak. The leader of the mercenary group brought all his subordinates to ambush the knights of the Ethos Order. Guys, we have come to the end of our video. If you guys want more of this recap, let me know in the comments section. Don't forget to like and smash that subscribe button for more recaps. See you guys later.